What is going on, fam? How are y'all doing? The day after election day, ladies and gentlemen, the day after how is everybody doing? Listen, I was gonna come in here, however, people, Yvette coming in happy, like I told you, she supported Trump. No, I'm coming in like, I'm coming in regardless. Cause I said, well, no, we gonna make do with the choices, whatever they is. That's just how it go. Now, whatever it is, that's just how it go. Hit the like button while you're in here, because you know we always have some haters in the building. So do that for me, fam. Listen, we got to talk about it. We don't have no choice. We got to talk about it. Now, Donald Trump won a resounding victory yesterday. For those of you who watched the show, a lot of people predicted it. The last show, a lot of ADOS predicted it, right? I just said, I don't know. I said, if I had to predict it, I would say Trump, but I don't know. I was wrong about Hillary, so I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen. So that's what happened. And a lot of people have been fighting about what happened and how it happened. So I want to get right to the nitty and the gritty, if you don't mind. First of all, I need Kamala to stop talking about her people, to stop talking, her surrogates to stop talking about, well, it was a short campaign and all this kind of stuff and you know, and all of that. You fought for this. You fought for this. Y'all fought for this. Kamala, you know, everybody's realizing today that there is no people of color, but you fought and that's the bright side. Let me just say, that is the bright side of this kind of situation. Is that people you wouldn't even have imagined are talking about. One thing I do worry about is that the solidarity between people of color has been significantly damaged. Well, as well it should be. As well it should be. Listen, this people of color stuff has been a scam. We have just been thrown into groups by our melanin or whatever. Even if you have a different background, you just people of color. Even if you ADOS, or you got somebody over here from Venezuela, you got somebody over here from South Africa, you got somebody over here from Brazil, and we're all just people of color. That was always garbage. You hear me? That was always a problem. That was always an issue. So the fact that people, look at him. One thing I do worry about is that solidarity between people of color has been significantly damaged. Watching Latinos chase model minority status has never set well with black people, but this is a wound the black community won't soon forget. Woo, we be slow to catching on, boy. We slow to catch on. I don't think he's ADOS, he's somebody else. But I'm just saying, there was never any solidarity. Understand that. A solidarity that is not built on anything is not solidarity. If you don't have the same views, the same ideals, if you're only in a group because the Democratic Party came together and said what Joe Biden said, y'all remember what Joe Biden said, don't you, Mr. Corn Pop? I saw Corn Pop, he was in a gang. You remember what Mr. Joe Biden said? He said, y'all got to learn to get along with the Latinos, as if, hey, they're going to be the majority. You just got to figure out a way to they running things now. That's what you said, Mr. Biden. You said we got to figure out how to get along with them because they running things now. We just got to figure it out. Well, now, hey, what they did, and we're going to get to it because how they voted damaged you. So one thing I'm very happy about, and we're going to continue to talk about, Corn Pop, you Mr. Joe Biden, Corn Pop, the Corn Pop gang member. We're going to continue to talk about the ways in which we've been saying this, the ways in which you tried to just tell us we were going to have to basically be subservient to other groups, even though we are the base of the Democratic Party. Let me tell you one takeaway from this. The whole way that Democrats have been managing this thing is over with, and we have to take advantage of it. They have been saying we are people of color umbrella thing, and y'all gonna have to get along with the Latinos, and it's people of color. Y'all just take a back seat because we got to give a bunch of stuff to them because y'all all the same. Hold on, we were never the same. And I got no issues with nobody, but nobody else built the country and then got multi-generationally oppressed and plundered. That's nobody else. You run around saying you got to give this group and this group. I got to give stuff to everybody. And let me tell you something else, Democrats. Everybody don't deserve it. We deserve it because of what we've been through and what we did. Everybody don't even want it. You got right now Latinos running around and happy. Latinos ain't even they're happy. Them ain't even they white. But you got them running around saying we don't buy into. I saw somebody put it under my thread. We don't buy into the people of color narrative. We don't buy into the racial or racist narrative. We just want to have a good life. They telling you, Democrats, they don't want this stuff you're giving out anyway. And they don't even understand why you're doing it. It was their politicians who fought for that. It wasn't them. They're not fighting for that. It was people in their political apparatus who started fighting for that after the civil rights movement and said, oh my gosh, look at the Negroes getting money. They're getting money that's tied to the civil rights movement. Oh my gosh, we have to go get some of this money. They get black money. We're going to go get brown money. Brown money. There's money in them that heals, and it's race. So we're going to say that people are oppressed and we're going to say that we get oppressed too. We're gonna say that we're gonna say one crow, even though we fought to be white, we fought in the courts to be whites. That's what Latinos and Hispanics did. But we're gonna say it's one crow happened to us. Everything that happened to us, we were enslaved. They were enslaved. We won. Jim Crow, one crow. Hey, where are the monies? There was never a real coalition. We have got to stop allowing people to force us into these kinds of coalitions that are not of our own doing. Look, even Roland Martin done woke up. Oh, let me show y'all something. Even Roland Martin done woke up. Somebody said, I have a friend. His mother is an undocumented immigrant. He admitted today that he voted for Trump due to concerns about inflation. Roland said, when she's deported, tell him to play No Tears by Brother Mob Scarface. Hey, you got to look for silver linings. I think in a lot of ways, we already know that a lot of ways that government's going to get gutted. Elon's going to be over there doing something funky. I'm not saying but this is a silver lining. And it's sad. It's really, really sad that it took y'all this long, that you had to get beat by Trump to realize that, oh my goodness, maybe ADOS is right. Maybe we're really not all the same and we have different needs and different contributions. Could they be correct? Yeah, and they showed you last night. Oh, they showed you. White women showed you. Latinos showed you. Everybody showed you, gave you their butt. Kamala, they gave you their whole butt. And you cannot blame ADOS. We voted about the same as we did last time. There were some differences, but it's about the same. Can't blame us. Right? There was some uptick, little movement, but you can't blame us. Yeah, Cynthia, forced teaming. You can't, well, y'all are all the same. And you get into a room with I got to go back to that. You get into a room with so-called black leaders and say, y'all just got to learn to get along with the Latinos. I guess the Latinos showed y'all. Now, if we're voting at 80-something%, we're going to go into the numbers in just a second. But if we're voting at the clip that we're voting at, and they're giving you their butts to kiss, here's one thing we can't allow to happen, people. Here's one thing that we absolutely cannot allow to happen. We cannot allow. See, let me tell you what the Democratic Party is going to want to do versus what we cannot allow them to do. They're going to want to just go chase the Latino and the white folk. Oh, well, y'all want us to be, we're going to be more Republican. That's what got you in trouble. Kamala was being that Republican. Listen, if people have a choice between the authentic thing and the fake, they're always going to get the authentic. If you can do it with anybody, you can put a pair of authentic handbag in front of somebody and give them a knockoff, and they always going to want the real thing. Democrats have a problem being a knockoff of the Republican Party. Nobody wants that. Now, there are some areas where you're just wrong. You're just wrong on immigration, so you have to change because you're just wrong. But there are some areas where you just cannot be a knockoff. Nobody wants to vote for the knockoff. Nobody wants to do that. So you cannot just say, well, we just gonna go, what the Latinos, what y'all want? We give you whatever you like. No. We are the base of the party. You give us whatever we like. Right? We want resources poured into us. No. Don't go running after white folk, running after the women who left, running after before you reward the base of the party. See, voting is an exchange. And in that exchange, you want to know who did real good? Us. Right? So let me just go to something else really quickly, because let me tell y'all, this ain't let me tell you, This is something. This is something because you have to look at the extent of what happened. Yes, this people of color stuff collapsed. We're gonna get into that a little bit more. But you have to blame Kamala as well, because Kamala, you wanted this, right? And y'all all forced Biden out. He started talking about corn pop, and y'all said, you perform awful in that debate. You got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. And it's gonna be her. Now, also, the next thing that happens, and I put this up as a tweet, but I'm gonna put it here. The next thing that happens is, and this is also very interesting, the way in which, let me get this a little bit smaller. Doop, doop. Ooh, the way in which y'all decided that we wasn't gonna have no election. There wasn't gonna be no process. Now, first of all, hold on, wait a minute. So I said, don't forget to blame the DNC and Democratic Party leaders this morning, most of whom initially thought there needed to be some kind of nominating process, but allowed Kamala Harris to strong arm her way to the nomination anyway. They knew she was an unpopular candidate. They knew what was at risk. Like, if you think that if you really believe that we're fighting fascism, I need you to give me somebody that can win. Give me your best. Put them on deck. Or if you believe Kamala's the best, let her fight for it. Let her fight for it. Why she can't fight for it? What's the problem with her fighting for it? Last year, one poll found that she had the lowest approval rating of any vice president since records began. That's who you put up against quote unquote fascism? Somebody with those low numbers? She was supposed to fight for it. But y'all just let her take it. Y'all let her make a bunch of calls. I went through this on, I think, Patreon. I can't remember. I can't keep stuff together. But y'all let her. Y'all allowed this woman to just get on the call and tell y'all, hey, I'm already getting delegates. I don't know what you're talking about. And Bakari Sellers, you was the main one. Bakari Sellers, this is a quote from the New Yorker article that I just put up. Bakari Sellers, a former Senate South Carolina state representative who helped Harris secure the nomination, told me that her team saw value in moving swiftly. We weren't going to do this BS that other people were asking for, he said. In his view, an open convention was to skip Kamala. Maybe it was, but maybe it was to have her fight for it. Because you are part of the problem. She should have had to fight. Listen, we saw Kamala in 2019, 2020 campaign, and her campaign imploded. We saw that. We saw her run out of money. We saw people say there were management fights in her campaign. We saw people say she didn't know what direction she wanted to go. We saw people, I came in here and said she lifted Elizabeth Warren's plan. So we saw all of that happen, and you decided to help her strong arm her way because what did you want? A place in the White House? What did you want? Because this did not work. And I'm just saying, everybody has to take an honest look at themselves and what they did wrong. Bakari, this wasn't right. This was anti-democratic. Talk to me about fascism and you got somebody avoiding the process. Well, I think they're avoiding the process to get Kamala out of here. So what? So what if they're avoiding the process to get out of it? Tell her to fight for it. Let the best man or woman win. All of them get in there and figure out a way to fight. This ain't no way to do no democracy. You can't. That's the whole reason the fascism thing didn't play anyway. It didn't play not because of who Trump is or isn't. Maybe he is. But you don't look like you fighting for democracy while you being undemocratic. So I hope when everybody woke up this morning that in addition to blaming everybody who voted, you blame the people who put us in this situation. I hope when you got up this morning that you blame the party that put us in this situation. I hope. Because this is on them. These are the people who approved of her as a candidate. You know that Barack Obama and all of them, Obama initially said, I look forward to a process. That's what Obama initially said. He said, I look forward to a process that will lead to the best candidate. That's what he said. Everybody came out, and when Biden said he wasn't running no more and y'all pushed him out, I don't know how you get the right to do that anyway. I don't know how you want to talk about fascism and democratic. I don't know how George Clooney and them don't know how they get to come out here and tell Joe Biden that he can't do it. Well, the big donors have come into Hollywood. That ain't democracy. If the big donors can come in and say whether or not Biden can run or not. We're not supposed to be a country run by big donors. So don't talk to me about saving democracy when you're undemocratic. Don't talk to me about saving democracy when this woman doesn't have to stand before people and earn a vote. Don't talk to me about earning democracy when celebrities are out here telling you that the president has to step back. Don't tell me about it. I don't want to hear about it from you. And part of the reason that this stuff did not work when talking about Trump and saving democracy, because it was apparent to everybody who was looking at you wasn't trying to save no democracy. You were trying to win. The same way he was trying to win. Americans are crazy, but they ain't that crazy. Then the other part of the whole thing, gosh. The other part of the whole thing, fam, there's another whole part to this too. If you want to win, you have to win on something. If you want to win, you got to win based on something. Remember I talked about this too. I said you have to have some kind of agenda. Where is the agenda? We had to force Kamala to come out with some kind of milquetoast agenda. That's not how you win. So when we're talking about who's to blame, and don't tell me about no short campaign, you could call me tonight and say, I'm going to run for president day after tomorrow. And I need some kind of agenda, and I can give you one. Don't talk to me about that. You cannot run. See, Kamala Harris defines herself, but not much, not too much. Kamala Harris says we're going back. But what's her plan forward? Nobody knew what she was going to do. She kept talking about an opportunity campaign. What does that mean? Well, it means everybody. I grew up in a middle-class household. And I worked at McDonald's. And then you stop talking about McDonald's. What are we doing? What are we talking about? What's going on? I grew up in a middle class. That's not enough. Because if you watch, first of all, Trump is a known quantity. That means we know exactly what the threats that he poses. He's been there one time. We know what it looked like as president, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We know. Right? There may be some other stuff too, but we know. We don't know. You're not a known quantity. You have to explain to us. Are you going to be Joe Biden? Okay. If you're going to be like Joe Biden, okay. Well, then tell me what Biden's policies you want to double down on. Hey, you want to know? I like some stuff Biden did. I've talked to y'all about this. He did some good union stuff. I like the stuff he did with monopolies, right? In terms of using this Justice Department to try to break up monopolies. I like that because they too big and you can't have no competition. Smash, 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 right? So I like that. Kamala, even if you want to run on what Joe Biden has done, you have to understand it and you have to say, these are the aspects of his presidency that I want to run on. These are the things that I want to do. These are the things that I want to continue. I like what he did there. Here's how I would ramp it up 1,000%. I'm not with him on this, and this is how I would change it. If you see the polls that said, family, there were polls saying a lot of people, too many people, said that this country is going in the wrong direction, that they don't like the direction of America, right? When you see that, as a political person, when you see that, you cannot stand that close to the man who they believe has it going in the wrong direction. Now, I believe there were a lot of ways that Biden just, he wasn't my cup of tea necessarily, but I believe there were a lot of ways that he just wasn't good at communicating. He's older, because everything ages when you age. Your throat, everything. So you lose your body age. You lose the ability to communicate like you used to. But you have to be able to say, listen, I don't know how you missed out, Kamala, on them union endorsements. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You got to get the unions what they want. It's labor. What are you talking about? Now, maybe some of them just want to be on the Trump train, but you got to be, hey, what you need? I'm in favor of labor. Tell me what you need. What's your grocery list? I got you. Whatever he got, I double it. What we got? What we working with? But you can't blame us. And here's what, I just want to go through it. You cannot blame us. Right? She had that dilemma. She didn't know what to do. Kamala Harris. This is a dilemma. Standing by Joe Biden or setting her own agenda. You can't have this dilemma. I'm sorry, family. You cannot have this dilemma. When you're running for president, you got to know before you run, am I going to stand with this man or am I getting out of here? You got to know that. This thing, look at this thing. It done did something stupid. But look, let me show you this real quick. In fact, this is an article. It done turned the camera thing. In fact, I probably heard more about, hold on, I'm still on this. Hold on a second. Okay. I probably heard more about Trump's policy agenda than Harris's. Fam, let me say, that's a problem. If somebody says that, that's a problem. If somebody says, I probably heard more about that is a problem. You are supposed to have, and that's part of the reason we pressed, hey, what's your agenda? You have to have your own agenda. You cannot just say, your campaign cannot be built on, this person is really, really bad. Do y'all hear me when I tell you? Your campaign cannot be built on how bad the other person is. Somehow, they thought Project 2025 and saying, well, have you seen Project 2025 was going to be the thing that saved them. I got news. I got a lot of news. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I'm sorry. So, Democrats have repeatedly brandished Project 2025, calling attention to the 900-page presidential transition blueprint by the Heritage Foundation. Harris mentioned it tonight, but Harris has no Project 2025 equivalent, and Democrats seem at peace with that. Didn't I say that? I said that, listen, I just found this article today. I said a long time ago, where Democrats, listen, talk to me about your Project 2025. You have to, if you're running against somebody who is a radical, you have to be a radical too, in a way that aligns with your own vision. You don't run after whatever their vision of radicalism is and just say we're less bad. You have to say, listen, they got this Project 2025 and it's going to be good for corporations. It's going to be good for grifters. It's going to be good for everybody else except you. But guess what? I have a Project 2025 that's going to be good for you and it's going to be good for your family. That's what you got to say. That was not said. That's right, fam. That's right, Katrina. That's not how any of this works. Let me make this one bigger. Hold on a second before I bring this next one up. According to multiple campaign advisors and Democratic officials, this campaign is for laying out a vision for convincing voters that Harris is on their side and for getting 270 electoral votes. In 2019, I worked briefly for Harris's primary campaign before becoming a journalist. And I remember how wonky the environment was. Over the 4 days I spent among the Democrats in Chicago this week, I didn't hear the words white paper or study. One time. Fam, he says, I did not hear the words white paper or study one time. What is that telling you? It's telling me they weren't doing any research. Even research for what kind of policies do people need? Listen, you don't even have to, if you are in politics, you should be doing this kind of stuff anyway. That's the reason you're here. You are here to serve, and serving means you find solutions for people. If you are here for business or to head to Martha's Vineyard or to make your personal life better, this is not the job for you. This is not the job for you. And that's all right. Everything is not for everybody. Some people were real wrong last night in terms of what they felt and what they thought and what they believed. But how in the world did you believe that stuff in the first place? Because this person had no vision, no agenda. They were writing articles. I tried to find the article. I think people are hiding their articles now. There was an article a while back about she don't need no agenda. What? So if you want to know, if you want to think about some of the stuff that went wrong, you got to think about that. But these women, white women, especially, they blew this thing out. They said, listen, we're not doing this no more. Let me tell you, what did we talk about? What did we talk about? White women be out here voting as families. Huh? They be out here voting as families. Move this thing back just a little bit. Why can't you move this way? Huh. They be out here voting. Let me make this smaller. Look at this. White men, ooh. Look at that little short 34 blue line. White women, 40, 47. Not too many more. They want to listen. White women, we have to get out of this mode. White women do not view white men as harmful or a threat. These are their brothers, their uncles, their fathers. They view them as protectors and people. Protectors and providers is how white women view these men. You banked on. And I was told that too. People were like, no, Yvette, you don't know. Like, these white women are going to come out for abortion. I was like, okay, if you say so, I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know what they're finna do. I don't know what they're finna do. Okay, if you tell me, if you know the whites, better not know the whites. I don't know. I don't know what they're finna do. They finna come out. They're going to come out. And they're going to come out for Kamala because Roe v. Wade. That's what they said. Now, when I look at white, this is an exit polls. We'll see if that changes over time. But get this little thing out of my way so I can let that cook. When you look at these white women, if you look at these white women, I just want y'all to look at this chart for a little while. Now I want you to listen. Look, Latino men, y'all was down there at 44, like. Black women came through with the black men came through. 78%. They right there. Listen. White people move as a family unit. When you understand that, you understand. You understand white wealth. Ain't no gender. I'm a woman, hear me raw. That's a scam. Woo! Feminism got people confused. That's a scam. Ain't none of that. They move as a family. They are a unit. So yes, when you look at this white women, yeah, they cost you. You thought they was going to come out there, that's a woman. And I've said this since the beginning. Please, somebody tell me if white women ain't coming out for Hillary Rodham Clinton, who is the whitest of white women and said we got to bring the super predators to heel. And she's married to Bubba. If white women didn't come out for her, you think they're going to come out for Kamala Devitt Harris? Jamaican and Indian, you think they're coming out for that? They won't come out for their own? The majority, you think they're coming out for that? Oh, are you kidding me? Are we okay? And people, what are you smoking? Because I don't want none, ever. Right? These white women sided with their white family, and Donald Trump is one of them. That's how I view it. Donald Trump is a white man. They understand Donald Trump. He talk all that talk like they brother, like they husband or whatever. He don't mean it. Just everybody be a little racist sometimes. Whatever. Yeah, well, it's just yes, they move that way. Yes. Remember the woman in the feminist movement was there with Gloria Steinem, and they was both like this. Oh, they got you messed up. They got you messed up. But I just want you to pay attention to these numbers because we finna move on. I want to show you something else. Because I'm not gonna get too deep in it. But it is what it is. This is just race by itself. And let me just say, let me go back to this. What was I at? Let me go back to this for a second. No, that's not the one. Where's the one? Oh, okay. I want to go to this one. Do I see American Indian on here? Do I see American Indian at 35%? Now these are just exit polls. We don't have no better. Everybody's using these right now because we don't have no better stuff. But do I see American Indian on here? Hold on. I I don't see American Indian on here at 35. I know that ain't what I see. I do not see American Indian on here. I don't, y'all are lying to me. I don't see American Indian on here for 35%. I do not. Not after everything the Democrats done did for you. I know I don't. I know I'm seeing things. Like, let me bring this close. I'm not seeing that. Am I seeing that? I gotta be losing myself. Like, I'm not seeing that, am I? Let me tell y'all, fam. We are the people who deserve all of the wealth that has been plundered away from us. But instead of giving it to us in forms of reparations and putting resources in our community, instead of doing that, they've been giving money to everybody. The Democrats have been running around trying to pay people off who don't want to be paid off. Their politicians might, but they're telling you, I don't want it. And it don't mean nothing to me. Hey, it means something to us. Give it over here. Because if that American Indian number is true, Biden was just running around. He was just running around apologizing for the boarding schools. And let me tell you, that's a path for reparations. Watch that. That's a path for them to get reparations. He was just running around. I saw him run to get to the camera. He was looking good for 80-something to me. Y'all talked about that man. He ran to the camera. He said, hey, I'm about to go apologize to the American Indians for the schools. I'm going to go do that right now. I have YouTube alerts for C-SPAN. So I said, what's C-SPAN said? Talking about Joe Biden and the American Indian. And so I went over there, and they said he was running over there to go apologize for the American Indian schools. He been running over there. He been doing everything, and y'all didn't show up. If y'all didn't show up for him, ooh, the coalition done fell apart. This People of Color Coalition, listen, hey, guess what? Guess what, y'all? Guess who the base of the Democratic Party is? If you didn't know it then, you know it now. The base of the Democratic Party is who? It's ADOS. Ain't no people of color. We got a coalition. Coalition fell all the way apart. The only people who showed up for you in real numbers was ADOS. And y'all been running around trying to pay people off. No, it works for us because we deserve it. Other people be like, what you doing? We still gonna vote how we vote. We don't. Fact sheet, President Biden touts historic support for Indian country and transformation of the nation-to-nation relationship with tribal nations. Honey child, let me tell y'all something. This executive action builds on the historic investments President Biden has made in the Indian country, including $32 billion with a B in the American Rescue Plan, the largest direct federal investment in tribal nations' history. Wait a minute, that number better not be true. They gave y'all all that money and y'all didn't. You couldn't have gave us all that money. Hey, you start infusing money in our community, and listen, you do the stuff that we need you to do, Democrats. I will campaign for you. I'll be everywhere. Hey, come outside. I will drag Negroes outside. Start billions on billions on billions on billions with me if you want to. And see, I'll drag you outside. Get out the house. I kick your door. Get out the house. We got billions on billions on billions at stake. You better get your butt out the house. Get your butt out the house. I'll knock on your window while you sleep. if they was getting Yvette, what you doing? Get up. We got money. We got money at stake for this. But y'all see what they've been squandering our political capital. So what's really happening is that they're using our political capital and a lot of the stuff that should be ours, right? And they're giving it to a bunch of different groups. I'm not saying that the Native Americans never deserved anything, but they've gotten a lot. And I'm saying we haven't gotten nearly enough. And what they've been doing is basically saying, hey, we're going to spread this around in hopes that spreading this around means we get votes. And y'all also got the Secretary of the Interior over there, and we got to deal with all this. Man, what we talking about? What's going on? $13 billion in the bipartisan infrastructure law to build high-speed internet roads, bridges, public transit, and clean water sanitation infrastructure in tribal communities. $700 million in Inflation Reduction Act to invest in Native communities for climate resilience and adaptation programs, drought mitigation. I almost said drought migration. Lord have mercy. Programs, drought mitigation, home electrification, and clean energy and development. Woo! That's a lot. I'm saying, fam, that's a lot. And let me just say one other thing really quickly. Let me just say one other. No, no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But I just, I was just thinking about Kamala had so many problems. And this is something different. This is $700 million in the Inflation Reduction Act to invest in that. Oh, all this money flying around, none of it going to us, but the expectations are going to. We're supposed to be, well, why don't you come here? And why don't you do this? And those people, you got to be over here. Kamala, why are y'all asking anything specific of us anyway? Listen, there is a politics of race. The politics of race, which is really lineage in this country. Barack Obama had a whole little Negro looking family. He had Michelle, he had the kids or whatever. Like, this thing was all wrong. Michelle Obama was, that was Obama's wife. She was Adolf. Because there's a politics of, like, I don't even think a lot of white folk like to see a coupling. They ain't even comfortable with interracial stuff. Then you then you had black men telling Adolf's men, come save me. And you didn't even choose the Adolf's men to save you in your own relationship. Now, I'm not talking about what's right or wrong. I'm talking about the politics of race in this country, the politics of lineage in this country. That's what I'm talking about. You can't ask these men to protect you and you couldn't choose one. She went to Howard and came back with nothing. And that, I'm just saying, Obama broke up with his white lady because he understood the politics of there's a politics to this in this country. It's a racist country. I don't care who nobody be with, but this country, it's got a lot of racism. They care. You come from California where less people care. Okay, but when you run nationally, there's more caring. But you don't have the children, so you didn't even have the little mixed babies. Like, it's a lot. Now, listen, I don't care. I don't have kids, so I don't care. I'm telling you that there's a politics of family that white women looked at, and they were like, Other people looked at and said, I'm just trying to tell the truth today. That's all. People love them pictures. White folks and Negroes love them pictures of the Obamas, the two daughters and the little, look at this little Negro people, little pretty Negro babies that squeeze your jaws. You didn't have it. I'm just saying, people don't get mad at me. They get mad at Latinos and white women for their biases. Native Americans who y'all gave all that money to, and they still, from the looks of the exit polls, decided not to mess with you. That's all I'm saying. Hold on a second. Let me get through some of this stuff, fam. I'm acted up. I'm astonished at the number of young folk too. Look at the number. Look at 1829. Woo, we 43 young people. Oh, Democrats, you in danger. You in danger. Listen, this thing is split up. And then that thing is something else. Let me tell you. Then let's go back to this chart real quick. Let's go back to this real quick. I want to go back to, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. I want to go back to this chart for just a second. So Adolf's men kept getting hit with misogyny and all that kind of stuff. That y'all don't like this other boy, a black woman. Now you got to go deal with Guillermo. Listen, Latino men, if that number is right at 44, listen. Ooh, even Latino women, y'all didn't come through either. Like, you did better than men, but you didn't really come through. Like, you got to deal with this. Y'all got to deal with this. Now I'm coming to Guillermo and Juan and all y'all. I am, because listen, no offense to y'all, but y'all not a real category. Listen, immigrants in general come to this country to be white. So wait a minute, you think they come here to change their melanin? No, knucklehead, no dodo bird. Nobody comes here for a melanin transplant, because that's not what this is about. We are post-racial, really, but we're not post-lineage. They don't come here. They come here to be normal. They come here to join white folk and make good money. They don't come here for you, Kamala Harris, or you, Joe Biden, to make them a part of a minority group. They don't want to be a minority. They want to be a part of the main group. And that main group has nothing to do with melanin, because even a lot of Latinos ain't even, they white. White Latinos. Spicy mayo. That's the thing. They white. They're not coming here to be marginalized. They don't want to experience what we experience. Only we experience it. They don't want that. They're not coming here for that. What is everybody thinking? They're not coming here they're coming here to be part of whiteness, and whiteness is not melanin anymore. We're post that. It's normal and it's being normal and accepted in society. That's what they're coming here for. They don't even want you to use that racial stuff on them. They don't even know who they are. It's a created group. They used to try to be white. It's a to me, and no offense, it's a fiction. Because there was no Hispanic. They created that. Go read Making Hispanics. They created that group. It's not a real group. That's why when they walk around and say, we're the biggest ethnic group in America, what is that based on? Speaking Spanish? Eating Goya beans? No, that's not a real group. We're based on culture, lineage, contribution. We have a whole thing that we created. That's not who they are. So listen, I tell you, guess what? Trump did not promise them not one thing. A better economy, whatever. But he didn't promise them the stuff y'all been giving them, money for Hispanic serving institutions. By what right? We have money for HBCUs because we were excluded multi-generationally from education, so they gave us our own stuff. That's why are you giving money to Hispanic serving institutions? By what right? How are you setting aside money to people who came here of their own volition to do what they wanted to do and have a better life for themselves, and they do have a better life than where they came from, and you're giving them something extra? We're never going to be fixed as long as people give away all of our stuff. And it's our stuff. Let me just put this up here real quick. For U.S. Hispanics, Spanish is the most important part of Hispanic identity. What? So wait a minute. So what if I told you to be an ethnic group, speaking English is the most important part? You know how many people around the world speak English? So are we an ethnic group because we speak English? This is a farce. This don't make no sense. The reason Trump succeeded in talking to white Hispanics the same way to white working class Hispanics, because not all Hispanics voted for Trump. The reason he succeeded in with white working class Hispanics with working class Hispanics the same way he does with white folk, with white working class folk, because they're the same people. And so you have some who are liberal and some who are conservative, because this is whiteness. Whiteness is not about let you look at your skin and see the melanin. A lot of them are darker than me. What that mean? Nothing. There is no identity here. This is a creation to get resources. You used to claim white, now you claim something else because quote unquote brownness. Most Latinos say it is not necessary to speak Spanish to be Latino. So first of all, the first chart said that, hold on, I didn't put it through yet. The first chart said the connection was language. The second chart said, no, you don't need, this is a mess. And you know who went along with it? Because they thought, well, that's how we're going to get the white man out of here. If we're just going to let more brown people out of here, we're going to get the white man. We're going to have to fight the white man with other brown people. We're going to bring brown people in here, and they're going to understand we went through, and they're going to be on our side. No! Our leaders did that. And they told them, we're never going to fight with y'all. We're never going to compete with y'all. And we said, well, all right, then. You're not going to compete with us. You're going to be brown. You want to be brown. Why they want to be brown when they were trying to claim white? Get that stuff out of here. If you don't get that mess out of here, this is a mess. A funky, funky mess. Majority of third or higher generation Latinos say they can't carry a conversation in Spanish. What if we? So the first chart said Spanish is a thing. The next chart said, well, maybe not. The second chart said, well, most Latinos say it's not necessary to speak Spanish. Now most Latinos say they can't speak Spanish, but Spanish is supposed to be essential to Latino identity. It's not a real identity. I'm not saying, now, understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that being Venezuelan is not an identity. I'm not saying that being Ecuadorian is not an identity. I'm not saying being Cuban is not an identity. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, yes, these are countries and you have a particular history in this country and a contribution in this country. I'm saying coming to America from all these different countries, you are whatever country you come from, and that is your contribution. That's who you are. You don't just become part of this other group because y'all sometimes maybe speak Spanish. Y'all ain't even the same. You don't have nothing else in common. No, you're not the same group. These groups should be broken up. Hispanic identity fades across generations. So they saying the identity fades. Yes, you want to know why the identity fades? Because they become white. When you become white, yes, you become white. That's why you come to America. If you want to stay being whatever you were, and some of them do like first generations, sometimes second generation. But yes, it fades. I bet you it do. Let me see. Non-Hispanic heritage is more common. Wait a minute. Hold on. It's more. This thing. Among higher generations of those with Hispanic ancestry. Child, this is a mess. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm at the 50-minute mark, so I'm not gonna go too deep, but this is a mess. And I don't know how anybody went along with this. Neither speaking Spanish nor having a Spanish last name makes one Hispanic. So what does? Neither speaking Spanish nor having a Hispanic name makes one Hispanic. Listen, then they get into a whole argument about country of origin. Child, this is a farce. People are where they come from. If you come from Nicaragua, you are Nicaraguan American until you become white. Then you're probably gonna forget. We've studied this, how people the further they get away from that and become white, the further they don't think about it no more. It's not a part of their identity. It's a part of this whole con to make you say we're the biggest population. No, you're not. ADOS is still the biggest ethnic group in America. Period. That's it. This other thing is a creation. It's a Frankenstein. Let it go. I'm just gonna go through a couple more of these. Majority of Latinos say their race is white. In two questions of race and ethnicity. So wait a minute. White Latinos are a minority, an alleged brown minority that Democrats expected to show up and say that they were oppressed or what? I don't know. What? This is white people. Just throw them over there with white people, and then everything makes sense. If you do that, then the election makes sense. Right? The election makes sense when you do that. It don't make sense now because you're thinking of them like you think of us when you say black and brown. No, there's no black and brown. Really, there's ADOS and whatever. Ain't no black and brown. It's not the same treatment. It's not the same history. It's not the same. Oh, my gosh. All this stuff they gave y'all. All the fact sheet President Biden and Vice President Harris announced. This was right before the election, too. They did this right before the election because I put it up. Y'all remember? They did this right before the election. President Biden and Vice President Harris announced new actions and investments to advance educational and economic opportunity for Latino communities across the country. Child, they said, half of them, well, a lot of the men, but child, you was doing all that stuff. Trump didn't have to promise nothing. Trump didn't have to promise them nothing in particular. He just said, life's going to get better for you because they said, all we want is a chance. We want inflation to go down, we want opportunity, whatever. He didn't have to promise them nothing. You could give that to HBCUs. Don't make no sense. Today, President Biden and will ceremonially sign Executive Order 14124, establishing the White House Initiative on Advancing Educational Equity, Excellence, and Economic Opportunity through Hispanic serving institutions, alongside near 24 champions for these institutions and Latinos communities. President Biden and Vice President Harris will also announce nearly $19 million in transformational investments in 5 HSUs in Florida, Illinois, Texas, and Puerto Rico to rebuild research infrastructure. These efforts build on the administration's historic investment of over $16 billion in more than 500 historic HSIs across 30 states and the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. Ooh. And that educate more than 4.7 million students annually. Yeah, you all that. Still, you're supposed to show up in large numbers when you get that kind of money. Over the past 3 years, President Biden and Vice President Harris have taken historic actions to expand opportunity for Latino families and communities, including creating more than 15 million jobs with 5 million. Yeah, I don't believe y'all created jobs. But then you might have with 5 million created for Latinos, helping Latino entrepreneurs start new businesses at the fastest rate in over 10 years, addressing our broken immigration system and working to ensure equitable educational opportunity for students. Today, the Biden-Harris administration is announcing new actions to advance educational opportunities for students at HSIs and giving them a fair shot at achieving the American dream. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Everybody waking up though. They didn't come through. All of that, they didn't come through. We be promised, we be asking for all kind of stuff. Listen, everybody waking up though. That's the good part. Everybody waking up. It's okay. They waking up and they fighting. Listen, fam. All I want to say, I'm going to get out of here, but all I want to say, hold on. Let me get everybody waking up. I thought you was my friend. Get your hand out of my pocket. The thing that we're going to have to do going forward, right, is we got to do what we've been doing. Listen, I'm not going to say that the days ahead are going to be easy. I think government is about to get gutted. I think Elon is about to get in there and make sure that all kind of regulations get cut so that he can have what he needs. I think it's some rough times, right? But we're going to advocate how we got to advocate, and we're going to tell Democrats, listen, there is no black-brown coalition. That fell apart. If you want us to get out and register more voters and get out to vote at a 95% clip, you're going to have to take all that money you've been giving to these people that ain't voting for you and put it right in us, and we'll make sure that happens. They don't want it nowhere. They want an opportunity. So let them have an opportunity. They can have an opportunity. Give all that stuff over here, and because we are the foundation. Even with all that stuff, listen, even with all that stuff they talk, where is it? You still didn't see much change in us. So listen, Democrats, I got a message for you. Your umbrella with the black, brown, and all this stuff, that's over with. You can only rely on us. Now, that don't mean you ain't got to do stuff to win them, but Trump showed you ain't got to get him nothing to win them. Trump showed you. So you ain't got to get him nothing. Hey, move this over here because we are old stuff. Give it to us, and we will make sure to be a very, very, very strong foundation for what you're trying to do. Right? Right? You got to take care of your foundation. You really do. You really, really do. You have got to take care of your foundation. And that foundation is us. It's not a coalition. Biden was wrong. You got to get along. Okay, corn pop. I don't believe you, corn pop. But anyway, fam, we're gonna get through this thing. Like we got to get through it. But I'm happy everybody's waking up, that there is no People of Color Coalition. I'm happy everybody's waking up. Even some of the boulets, some of the people saying, hey, these women, all these other people who talk all this trash, they ain't really, the people Democrats are counting on, it didn't happen. So it's all us, and we all in this together. And now I'm just going to take a break, and I'm going to let y'all come in and have a conversation if you want to, and talk about this thing. What you thought about what happened last night. I'll be right back, fam. Oh my goodness. What happened last night? All right. Oh, that's not on. All right, fam. All right, we are back. So let me go to the calls. I want to see what's going on with you. Tell me. So anyway, let me go to the first one. 215. 215. What is your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
How you doing tonight, Yvette?
I'm doing good. I was up late, man. I was up to like 5 and got up at 8. But I'm doing good.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to say with full transparency, I voted for Kamala.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Okay, so Cornel West wasn't on the ballot in Pennsylvania, well, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I write myself in vote down ballot. But when I see Trump simulate performance fellatio on that mic,
oh, that was nasty, wasn't it? Oh, that was nasty.
I gotta do something not to get this man in because he is crazy. That's so far beyond the pale of what.
What was that even about? I saw that on TV and I saw that and I was taken aback.
But it was just so crazy. I said, I can't. But so I did see a pundit this morning say that the Democrats have to go more center. And if the Democrats do not deal straight up with us, with ADOS, they will not, they going out like the Whig Party. They have to deal with us in all rooms, all paths lead through us. They have to secure us because we're the base.
Mm-hmm.
They have to secure us without alienating the other demographics to the point where they chase them away.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. I don't think the Democrats have to go to the center. Like they have to. Like there are some things that people understand are just wrong, right? So not having borders is a thing that people just acknowledge. Like this don't make sense. You have to have a border, right? But like a lot of the other things that Trump is talking about in terms of ways to protect American workers, this used to be the language of Democrats. Right. And I think Joe Biden did some of that in terms of union, but there's not enough of that. But the language that he uses used to be not since the triangulation of Bill Clinton, but there was a time when that was the language of people on the left. How do we protect workers? So it feels like to me, honestly, some of Trump's language, I'm not talking about the execution, is about, hey, I'm going to put America first. I'm going to put American workers first. There's a way to do that from over here on the left and not the right. You don't have to go to the right to say, and mean, I'm going to find a way to protect workers. I'm going to find a way to protect Americans. I know your life isn't right. I know you can't afford a house. I know you cannot do the things that your parents did. There's a way to implement policy from the left. This thing Democrats do where they say, I got to go to the right. No, you don't. You can do that. There are whole books about people on the left and who did that successfully. So I don't even know what they're talking about. But go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
No. But if they go to the center, they're going to lose. So they can't do that. But I think one of the problems, in my opinion, that the Democrats made was that they confused being progressive solely with being progressive from a cultural standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Wokeism, what they call it. Mm-hmm.
They let go of progression of being progressive as far as building a better economy for the working class, making more protections for workers, making services more efficient, securing the social safety net. They just went from they just said, forget that, we just gonna go to trans rights, LGBTQ, and immigrants. They just completely left what was progressive about the Democrats when the Democrats had the working class. Mm-hmm. They left that. And it was just a mistake. But again, if they don't reckon with us, without us, they don't have nothing.
They don't have a base. They don't have a base, and people got tired of that. I'm like, if inflation and everything is high, and you got a lot of stuff going on in your life, and you got $800 in the bank, if that, I don't want to hear about trans rights and LGBTQ in the bathroom. I don't want to hear about all that. What are we talking about? Like, what's important? What's most important to most people is not that.
Not at all. And that's called them, but I called them previously when you was doing your predictions. And I said that. If you listen to it, I said, look, she's not going to win Michigan, Pennsylvania, or North Carolina. I called her. I thought she might have been able to get Wisconsin, but I knew she was going to. I knew it was just going to be too much because, again, it's about the I forget who said it, but is the economy stupid?
That was James Carville, Bill Clinton. That was James Carville said to Bill Clinton, "It's the economy stupid." And I don't even think it's just the economy. I think immigration played a big role in this. I think people saw Venezuelans running around doing a bunch of stuff. I think immigration played a big role. And, you know, when Democrats used to do well, I think Democrats have always chased Republicans too much, but they had a different view on immigration. Like, that's one of the things. Like, you cannot say this country cannot have a border. You cannot just, that is not going to work. That just doesn't make sense. Except to corporations.
And the Republicans were able to successfully tie immigration and the Ukraine to the economy. Because one of the things is that immigration, they come, they drain our services, they getting all this money, Ukraine getting all this money, but we dealing with inflation. The Democrats just have, I don't know what, they're right for a third party
takeover, really. Yeah, a split or a takeover. Yep.
From this side, from the Tea Party type takeover, like how and this is something you spoke about years back, but how the Tea Party was able to successfully come in and influence the Republican policy because the Republicans knew they were losing some traction with their base. Mm-hmm. The Tea Party was able to come in, influence their policy, to get them back in tune with the base. I think that time is here for the Democrats.
It is. But let me tell you the difference. I think the Democrats had an opportunity with Bernie to do that. Like, I think they had an opportunity. No, they had an opportunity to do some policies because there was energy there. Like Democrats like to treat members of their base like garbage. I'm just gonna say what it is. Y'all just don't know nothing. Y'all don't understand. Bernie was a populist. Trump is a populist. What they're both telling you, when populists rise in your politics, when you have a rise in populism in your politics, that's telling you that there are people who don't believe that you as a party are being responsive to their needs. That's where populism come from. So when Bernie started getting that traction in those huge crowds, that tells you that populism tells you that you are going in a direction that doesn't make sense for the people who are supposed to vote for you. Bernie should have been a warning sign for them. You don't have to adopt everything he adopted, but it's a warning sign that the people who vote for you don't believe you're standing up for them.
I mean, I'm going to let you go. I appreciate you taking the time. But Bernie should have been a warning sign. You also should have been the nominee.
There you go.
I don't know why they didn't choose Bernie. I don't know why.
But there was some funny business, too.
Been the nominee.
That was some funny business, too.
They went with, they wanted the curry instead of the roast beef.
I appreciate you, fam. You too. You have a good one, fam. And let me just say this too. We haven't talked enough about Trump's anti-war state. So when you talk about Democrats saying we have to go to the right to beat Trump, no, anti-war used to be left. That used to be, and it is still for leftists, but it used to be the further you go left, the more people were anti-war. And it used to be the right and Republicans and conservatives were hawkish. Trump is anti-war. That's supposed to be you, Democrats. You're supposed to be anti-war. You're not supposed to be the ones having us in Ukraine and having us over here in Israel, whatever. That's not supposed to be you. You're not supposed to be the ones sitting there. Y'all have lost your way. And this election tells you that you've lost your way because Trump isn't just right-wing. I mean, he's conservative, he's right-wing, but there's some stuff that used to be on the left that people are vibing with, but it's with him now. You don't have it anymore. There is no anti-war in liberalism in the Democratic Party. I don't see it. Like, you see it with Bernie and some people like that. You see it, what's the lady's name who, you see it with some of the members of the squad. I'm not saying it doesn't exist at all, but that used to be a sentiment in the party, right? And so a lot of what you see And some of what you see is just even Democrats, because a lot of these people move from Democrat to Republican. And I don't believe it was just because of inflation. There are other things. How much that we don't approve of, and anti-war is one of them. We're tired of these unending wars where we just send money everywhere and we don't have no money. Somebody put a post about Flint still ain't got clean water, but Ukraine is getting money and all. People tired of that. And it's not just white folk who tired of that. 920, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hi, am I on air?
Yeah, you're on, fam. What's going on?
Oh, well, thank you for taking my call.
No problem.
I just love your show. I am from the swing state of Wisconsin, and I just would like to make 3 points.
Okay, go ahead.
Number one, I knew Kamala was never, ever, ever going to win the state of Wisconsin. If you look at the history of our state, we have never elected statewide a black official. There was one for Mandela Barnes, but he performed so poorly in office as lieutenant governor with his scandalous behavior of his personal life, and also he ran a horrible campaign when he ran against Ron Johnson. So there is some anti-black sentiment here in the state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin is a heavily white state.
Okay.
Now, the second point I wanted to bring up was about Hispanics.
Mm.
I am an instructor at a college, and I teach many Hispanics, and I cannot tell you how many times many Hispanics tell me, my students tell me, I'm not Hispanic, I'm white. And I am standing in front of a brown-skinned young man or woman, and they're telling me that they're white. They do not want to be Hispanic.
Mm.
And as you said, they don't want to be marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
To them, being Hispanic is considered failure in many ways, and they don't want to carry the stigma of failure.
Oh.
And so I think it's time to have, especially for the black community, the Latino community, they sent the message with them voting so heavily for Trump. We should hold them accountable to that.
Mm.
When they start screaming, yelling about deportation, I do not want the black community to come forward and bail them out of their decision. You voted for this. You live with it. You cannot assimilate into whiteness, no matter what you think.
I think they do, though. No, that's why we disagree. I think they absolutely do assimilate into it.
They think they do, but I can tell you this. I sit on a lot of hiring committees, and when they see the name Hispanic, and when they see a Hispanic surname, these whites, and this is in the state of Wisconsin,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you how many times I don't know if they're the right fit. So that's why I say that. But my last point is this, and I just want to say this. I am so disappointed with the HBCUs and the way Kamala Harris ran her campaign.
Mm.
You know, I was expecting that Kamala Harris would have had a policy proposal that was creative, that was innovative, something that would really mobilize the people. She is an HBCU graduate. This was the opportunity to display black excellence. And what did we get? We got crap on a cracker.
Wait. Because I want to say something. Because you're right.
Go ahead.
No, you're absolutely right. And I was thinking this, and I was thinking this, and you agree with something that I was thinking. You know, we used to have, this is as us, we used to have, you got to be twice as good, right? And I hate that different standard. But I also, what I hate more, honestly, is this mediocrity.
Yes, absolutely. This was our opportunity to shine, and the Black Boulets, they blew it. I'm not an HBCU graduate. I received my degrees from a predominantly white institution.
I'm a Howard grad.
I was rooting for the HBCUs because this was our opportunity to show white folks we have talent.
What we produce.
We have ideas.
Absolutely.
We are exceptional people, and we can do it better than you, and we failed, and I'm pissed off. Oh my gosh. Listen, I saw her concede today. I'm a Howard University alum. So when I saw her concede today at my alma mater, I cringed inside. Like, because you are the epitome of someone who doesn't work hard enough, doesn't research enough, doesn't perform in the mirror enough, right, to do what you were trying to do. And you are not excellent in any ways. And that's, when I went to school, before we talked about, we were race people, but race really meant lineage. And there was a sense that when you left this institution, you were supposed to make your people proud. Don't go out there and embarrass nobody, right? And what that meant was, I got to work hard because I don't want to embarrass nobody. And this woman has had town halls where she just stumble and fumble and can't figure stuff out. And she's basically kind of a laughing stock because of her performance. And I agree with you. This was our time to show that we produce, what we produce at these institutions. And instead, we got Kamala going around giggling. Yes. Well, thanks for the show and for hearing my thoughts. But, and one last thing, I pulled the lever for Trump. Not that I'm MAGA. Well, I just couldn't do it for the Democrats.
I understand.
I am Gen X. I've been voting for the Democratic Party for 35 years, and I'm sick of it.
I listen.
I love the show.
I listen. I thank you so much. We don't have people who call in. We have a diverse group. We don't have people call in from voted for Trump, Kamala, Jill Stein, Cornel West. Like, people talk about not being a monolith. But anyway, thank you, fam. I appreciate you. Woo. And love the accent. I love it. I'm going now to 910. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Madam President.
What's up with you?
North Carolina.
What's going on?
My. In the words of Mr. Duckworth, we are watching the party die. This has been quite the spectacle.
Ooh. Watching the party die. Whew.
I will say in so many ways, this was such an interesting experience. Of course, I think it should go without saying, of course, I definitely popped out for Dr. West.
Uh-huh.
And it was also my wife's first time voting as well.
Okay.
She's a third-party voter, so that was great.
Oh, good for her.
Working on getting my house in order.
There you go. There you go.
So I did want to get a couple things off my chest because I had a very interesting perspective last night because one of my best friends growing up, he is a very avid, Christian white Trump supporter.
Mm-hmm.
So for him, he is popping bottles of champagne figuratively. And then one of my other best friends is also like a third party voter, which is kind of also ADOS. So we just kind of observing this. Because it kind of felt like we didn't have a dog in the fight for the most part. But I do want to say something that was very interesting. I think, in a way, I feel like God kind of gave us a wink this morning and last night. Just the ADOS people.
Okay.
You know what that wink was, ladies and gentlemen?
What was the wink?
We actually got to see what the Kamala Harris presidency was going to look like. You know what that looked like, ladies and gentlemen? It looks like her setting up all of her paraphernalia and everything else in Howard University. This is your house. This is our house. She sets up everything in your house to celebrate her win. And when she doesn't get what she wants, she didn't even have the respect enough to even speak to you. there is no way in hell that Trump would get away with not speaking to his supporters the night of a loss, even in 2020 when they thought they didn't lose.
Let me add to that. Let me add to that, fam. Let me add to that. Not only just speaking about supporters, fam. A lot of these people at Howard University who came out for you were kids, right? These are kids. Like these are a lot of these people, Howard University students. They don't know what to believe. They're young, right? You gotta go and set the expectation. Hey, it's not looking good. I'll be back out here tomorrow if the final count is the final count, right? But I want you to know I love you. I want you to know I'm gonna not stop fighting for you. And if I have to make a concession speech tomorrow, I will. But I really believe if she had to come out there late, she'd come out there late. But these are students. You don't leave them wanting. And let me say one other thing, fam. I have had this back and forth with a couple people today. I wonder whether or not she had a concession speech. Now, let me tell you something else. If Kamala didn't have a concession speech, because somebody said on the news she had to get her thoughts together. If she didn't have a concession speech, you know what that says to me, fam? That tells me she didn't have a team. Not a good team. Because if you work for somebody and they're running for office, even if they tell you, hey, Yvette, I don't need no concession speech. I got this thing. I'm going to do this thing. That I don't want to even write a concession speech because I ain't going to have to speak. You say to your boss, if they tell you that, yeah, boss, I'm with you. You don't need no concession speech. When you get home, you start writing it. Right? Your boss should never be without a concession speech. You can tell them, yo, I ain't got nothing. I ain't never wrote no. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do you like that. Not you. You the boss. I know you got this. You can tell them that. Big them up. Because when you got a boss, you got to blow them up. Hey, you got this. I know you got it. Hey, we in here. But when you get home, you're working on that concession speech because that's your job. And for her, part of me believes she didn't have a concession speech, and that tells me that she didn't have a team. But go on, fam. I'm sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. That was the downfall of this. I don't even think so much that this was so much that it was Trump's election to win, but it was very much Kamala's to lose. There were so many things done so poorly, just because of the disdain that she has. Like, I don't care what comes out of her mouth. Like, we know as a culture, Miss Yvette, I feel like you my auntie. Like, I've been watching you for like almost 10 years. Like, you've been almost raised me. Like, we all know as a culture. we all know as a culture, you would never go to your auntie's house, to your grandmother's house, to your parents' house, and not speak when you walked in. That's an unspoken rule. We understand that there would be consequences and repercussions if you walk in somebody's house and don't speak. This woman has walked all in our house, spoken to us all kinds of ways. And the person that opened the door was Obama. So Obama's allowing all these people to walk in, and we have allowed this stuff. So, and I feel like in a way, and I'll try and wrap it up here, I feel like in a way there was something that you said a couple of years ago, you and Miss Antonio, that was almost prophetic, but in a way it's a good thing that's going to happen for our politics. It's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. It is.
Got to wake them up.
And there's a lot of folks that are waking up to two different sides, because there's, of course, the Democrats that are waking up and realizing that what you thought was right isn't right. There's a lot of the Democratic shills and a lot of the celebrities that's about to start falling off like flies because they're no longer useful. I saw St. Clyde was giving virtual hugs on Twitter this morning. Like, I don't know what's going on. These can't be my leaders. So with all of this stuff is breaking down, we have that. But also, here's another interesting thing too. For the black men, not for those that voted for Trump because they just didn't want Kamala, but for those that voted for Trump because you have the delusion of thinking that somehow, some way, you can attain that whiteness. I live in the state of North Carolina. Something very interesting just happened in North Carolina. We had a black man that thought that he could do that. His name is Mark Robinson. What he found out was that he got a Negro lesson and thought that he could move like Trump, but found out that even white people have a line that they draw.
Yeah, when it comes to you.
A Democratic governor that voted for a Republican president. So to wrap it all up, I think with this, we're going to start seeing a lot of those folks having these wake-up calls to like, no, you're actually a Negro in America. And this is going to be just in the same way, just like when the Israelites left Egypt. Before they left, you got to want to leave. In order to make you leave, it's got to hurt even worse, unfortunately.
Be on fire. Got to get out of here.
Pharaoh's got to make your work a whole lot harder. He's got to give you a whole lot more hell before you decide to follow Moses. Moses was fighting for their freedom before they wanted to leave. That's the problem.
He preaching.
For our liberation before we want to get out.
He preaching.
There's people already doing that. The problem is it doesn't hurt enough. And for some of us, because we are, how should I put it, a stiff-necked people, you're not going to learn unless it hurts. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of y'all that got your family, for those of you that got faith, for those of you that got something to stand on, you better buckle up and lock in, and get ready to also start being able to come to the table with these Democrats with some authority and some bass in your voice, because now they have to listen to you. And I'll leave it there, family.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, love you back.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Hey, and I think this gives us a good position to fight from. Honestly, we don't talk about that a lot, but I think this, during the Obama administration, I had such a hard time because people were like, "Oh, we got a black president, it's everything good." Da, 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 da. I was like, no, black wealth and this thing is down, and what the recession. They were like, "Oh, you're just a hater." With Trump, I feel like there's an opening for me to express what the problems are with Trump and stuff because he's who he is. I don't feel like I would have been able to do that with anybody else. And let me just say, like, if you have to, you have to go out there and talk to the students. You don't have to talk to them for a long time. But you have to let them know I'll be back tomorrow and we're going to have, if you're not going to concede. And listen, you don't have to be together. Like, you have to get your thoughts together. Like, if she did have a speech, or even if she wasn't going to make a speech, even if you are emotionally in a place, right? You have to be able to hold back your ugly cry. Like, I know, ooh, just swallow it. You can always swallow that ugly cry. Just, and when you feel it coming on, you gotta be able to do that. Well, let me go. 617. What's going on with you?
Hey, Yvette, it's Reggie. What's going on?
What's going on, Reggie? What you thought about last night?
Oh, man, you know what? I realized that my prediction was wrong. I gave Trump 296 electoral votes, but he got 312. I was wrong, Yvette.
I see you underestimate that man.
I was like, I knew it was going to be a landslide, but I was suspecting it, but I feel like I was trying to be a little too nice and gracious. But to let y'all know, the days are over going forward. Now, in terms of the what you're talking about on the show, I absolutely agree with you, and I'm glad to see that people are saying, we're not doing this POC stuff. Better late than never. But that said, what we're not going to do is allow these people to leave. Because they're positioning themselves already. Because they woke up and they're still bringing with them that arrogance that caused them to lose in the first place. They
really?
Say, I've woken up to the fact that Latinos are not my friends. White women are not my friends. Okay, let me tell you how this is going to go. Like, no. ADOS got it right, and I'm going to be checking the record. And if you was over there, I'm going to call it out. You do not get to lead in this moment. Like, Yvette, you and Tone have called all the balls and the strikes from the beginning, and at every opportunity, we around the country as ADOS members and supporters need to remind everybody in black politics of that fact. Like, all the way from Obama's Achilles heel to the reality of black wealth and, community is not Crayola, Pan-Africanism is dead, like all of it.
We've been here. We've been here.
We've been here. It's like, look, check our resume and record. Like, this is the time to flex that muscle. Because I'm not going to be playing with these people who are trying to position themselves now that they're looking for a new angle. And one other thing that I think that really has to, like, this is something that really has to die, and I'm seeing it happen. And I think a great example of this is Angela Rye. I was looking at her timeline, and other people are doing this as well. That even after this election, and even after these exit polls come back, you are still chasing these people. Because if you look at Angela Rye's timeline, there's like some white woman saying something crazy, and then Angela Rye is saying, "Oh, you're the reason that such and such is wrong with the country. Project 2025 is not for you." No, Project 2025 is for the white woman, and I don't know what it's going to take for people to understand that, like, oh, they're voting against their interests. No, they're voting for their interests.
Yeah, if Project 2025 helps white men and white, how can you? Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And it's like, no, it's like these women used to own you. Like so,
they were her property.
Like in what world? Like, because we understand through the book club, through the political education, through Yvette Carnell, we understand that damn near half of the slave owners during slavery were white women. White women who owned black men and black women, and the black women's bodies they used against their will to bring forth children that they did not ask for. So in what world do you think that the white woman in America, writ large, respects women's autonomy? Are you dumb? And here goes Angela Rye chasing after that, like, oh, this is gonna hurt you. No, this is not gonna hurt her. This is gonna solidify her position in this capitalist, racist patriarchy that is America. Like what I'm trying to get to is that I am tired. When I say I'm tired, I am tired and exhausted to the point of rage almost. I am tired of this intersectional martyrdom complex that's running through black politics. I am tired, Yvette. Because it is one thing to understand that yes, the black woman, especially the descendant of slavery woman in America, suffers at the intersection of patriarchy, capitalism, slavery. I get that. It's one thing to understand that and to fight those systems. It's another thing to play the martyr. And the reason I say that is because you have this theme that keeps coming up with the Angela Ryes and the Joy Reids of the world, to where it's like, oh my God, the black woman's got to save democracy again. In what world do you owe democracy anything?
Yeah, democracy ain't never saved you. Like we vote all the time. Democracy ain't saved us yet. We gotta save it.
Like democracy hasn't delivered for you, and then you let the Democrats and other people come around and say, you're the backbone of the party, you're the backbone of the community. You're saving democracy.
You strong, girl. You strong.
Save yourself. Save your community. Take that intersectional analysis and say, fix these matrices of oppression that I stand in, or else you don't get to 270. Like, where is that energy? Because what's happening with the way these people are moving, like, because you know how we do this fallacy of trickle down economics. What these people are doing is hoping for trickle down liberation. I'm gonna save democracy and hope that it trickles down to me. This is backwards. No, if we're gonna do the intersectional thing, do it. Center yourself. Center your community. Stop saving democracy. Save you. Like, Harriet Tubman was not a martyr. Fannie Lou Hamer was not a martyr. Assata Shakur was not a martyr. Gloria Richardson, not a martyr. Coretta Scott King was not a martyr. Yvette Carnell is not a martyr. The intersectional martyr has to go. If we're gonna do this right going forward, that's something that has to go, because it keeps coming back, and I'm tired.
I hear you, Reggie. I agree with you.
And I'm glad that ADOS is the place that we get to deal with issues like these. But I'm done with that.
No, appreciate you. And I tell you, thank you, Reggie. And I tell you what, not only that, but them white women wasn't martyring trying to save democracy. Latinos wasn't martyring. Everybody got together and tried to save democracy. Y'all gonna stop being these people's mules. Like, y'all just let people let me get on you and hop a ride. No, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. I'm not interested. Going right now to 734. 734, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, how you doing, man? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
Hello? Yeah, I'm all right. I believe that Harris was not going to get voted. Become the president from the rip. For one thing, Trump is a nationalist person, and what he's recruiting is nationalist people. And you talking to a nationalist society with regards to trying to bring them over to the Liberal Party, but her color got in the way. You're not going to put a black woman that also told you before with Hillary Clinton that they weren't going to let the woman to become president. And I believe that that sort of what put the blindfold over the whole party itself. And I don't think they had a choice, because when Biden gave the nomination to her, who did they have? You know.
Well, you know what they said? They said she didn't increase anything on Biden's. She didn't increase, like, she didn't get more than Biden in these places, most of them. And it's kind of like, well, what's the point then? But go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
No, she didn't. Yeah, no, you're all right. I know she did, and that's because, like I say, Trump is more of a nationalist person. What you're looking at is a nationalist party, which is the Republican Party it's not a Democratic Party anymore, or it's a nationalist party. And what I mean by nationalist party is that people are looking at that the minority as whites are becoming the majority as white is becoming the minority of the future after, I would say, 2030, 2035, they would be the minority. And this is what they're afraid of. They're afraid of that their rights is going to be taken away by I won't say homosexual, but it's another name that y'all
Just
call
say
it.
gay child. Don't say that. That might trigger something on YouTube. Just say LGBT or something.
Yeah, that's what it is. And they're afraid that these things are their boogeyman, and that Trump is going to try to stop this from progressively entering into their society. So what you're seeing with women and men is a nationalist movement towards doing away with the progressive ideals which interferes with their lives.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I get from my white friends that when they talk about this type of stuff, is that they don't like how laws have been pushed on them with regard to say like a guy who is a transsexual can go to a woman's bathroom. And stuff like that. And you got a lot of these progressive ideas that just trumping on their rights.
Well, and then the thing is, like, you know, when you're talking about dealing with the issues of like Americans, you have to think sometimes and I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying it has to be the majority, because there was a time when the majority agreed with slavery, right? So the majority is not always right. I'm not saying that. But if you think about the number of the population that trans people are, right? It's like, why is who is making that voice so loud in the room? Like, who decided that is going to be and we have to fight for that? Like, who decided that? Because you're talking about meeting the needs of people. How does that? And it became like so centered, and so Republicans saw it and said, we're gonna throw it out there and see what y'all do with it. And Democrats took the bait and just ran and started talking about, you know, trans stuff all the time, and it just became like, what are we doing here? People, in the midst of inflation, when people are hurting, electorates, voters will deal with a lot of stuff when they're doing well. Child, go do what you do. When your focus is off, when they're doing bad, you're in trouble.
Yeah, no, I think that, like your show, I think the biggest thing everybody is not focusing on, and it's just one word: inequality. Well, actually, two words: income inequality. And I do a lot of traveling because I got a lot of businesses in the United States, and when I do travel, a friend of mine took me up to a place called Appalachians and the Appalachian Trails, and I decided to go visit that weather one week. We did a whole week. And you have a bunch of poor white people. I did not think that there was poor white people in America.
Oh yeah, go to Appalachia. Go to a lot of places where you got poor white people. Yeah. They just don't have the extreme poverty, but we can get into it. But yeah, you got poor white people, yeah.
I mean, poor white people below poor black people.
Yes, you got white people living in shacks. Yes, you have white people who are living, but the poorest of white people don't live below the poorest of ADOS people. We have the most extreme poverty, but they have some awful poverty. You should in Appalachia, you can see it. I bring that up all the time because that's one place where you see it a lot. And that's part of their addiction problem. But so yeah, you have that.
Yeah, and I think that with the middle class going now. They fear that their livelihood is gone. That their kids don't have the lifestyle that they once had when they was growing up. And this income inequality is the reason why we have this problem with regards to the Democratic and Republican Party. And until you address the inequalities between within America itself, you're not gonna go anywhere. You can talk about the LGBT and all this other type of stuff. But until you address the income inequality, that's what's the matter with America right now. They don't see themselves. Okay. They're trying to say, make America great again. Okay, when was America great? I mean...
Well, it was great for white people at a lot of different times. Like, America was great for white folk at a bunch of different points. Like, most of it, I think. But, like, America was great for white people. And like, when white people start falling, you're going to have a problem. Like, as a group. I'm not saying they'll otherize just if somebody, he got one. But when they really start having problems, you're going to have a problem. Like, that should have been on somebody's radar. But I'll let you get the last word in, family, and I'm going to go to another caller.
Okay, this is that thing. When you said that, I would say, where America was great again when the middle class back in the 50s and the 60s. And during that time, the middle class had 63% of American wealth at that time.
Mm-hmm.
When when Reagan came into office, Reagan did away with the middle class and transferred all that wealth into the rich people. And now the rich 1% has 51% of all American wealth. So that transfer of wealth is what you see taking place, and people are like, okay, you ripped my pocket.
Yeah, that's what, I agree with you. I'm going to let you go, caller, but I appreciate you because that's what Antonio talks about a lot, too. It's just like there is no middle class. You've ripped away. All the money's going to so you're exactly right. I appreciate you, caller. Thank you so much for calling in. But yeah, you're right. Yes, this is, you listen, people are having a hard time, but it's a number of reasons why things happen the way they happen. It's not just one reason. I hate when people just boil it down to one thing. And I'm not saying the caller did that. I'm saying a lot of pundits on TV did that. But yeah, inequality, people see you. People see you sending money when they don't have none. And you tell them, like, we see people in Flint. We see we don't have nothing, and here we go. Here go money going over here. Here goes budget going over here. We see it. So 202, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello. Hi, Yvette.
Hey.
Okay, I'm calling from DC, and this is so bittersweet because I found your channel in like 2016, and me and my brother who passed away in 2021, we used to
rest in peace.
Kind of like related the most. We used to listen to your show, so this is bittersweet because it makes you think about him. What I wanted to talk about was I didn't know she was going to lose so badly because I have been kind of like in a bubble, but I went on and just wanted to hear what people had to say about how she lost. And I feel like people are just being disingenuous about what really is the issue. I've seen a lot of these like major networks or just content creators or regular speakers gloss over the issue and make it a thing of like people being ignorant or people pushing it back to people just not knowing enough about politics as to why she lost. And I always kind of question why we just don't want to, why these contributors never just want to be so-called honest, or they just that ignorant themselves not to really investigate what is the real issue. So I wanted to add that to the conversation because I just noticed, like, even when I went to work, I was just asking, what do you think? Because nobody really knows my political views because I live in a very heavily Democratic state. D.C. is very much, I think 96% of us voted for Kamala. The streets were closed down. Everyone was excited. And I just had this vibe of, like, I don't think this is going to happen, but I didn't think it was going to be like this, like, where people were, like, completely distorted in their views about what the other half is thinking. So, I don't know if you want to share with, like, you know.
Well, I think,
that,
well,
I just felt like that was something people were,
but,
like, missing.
But listen, the thing is, I believe there is an ignorance problem in America. I do. But if that ignorance problem is in politics, whose job is it to inform people? Like, you look at how much more money Kamala raised than Trump, right? And he ran the board on her. If you put together an agenda and talk about the stuff that you agree with that Biden did and the stuff that you are going to do that improves their lives, you can educate them about, hey, and you campaign on that. Every campaign stop. You can't just say opportunity economy. So if so my thing is just like, if you are campaigning, it's your job. Now you can't educate people beyond a certain point, but it's your job to say, this is what we did. This is how it helped you. This is what we're going to do. And this is how it will help you. And this is what I'm running on. And this is, and what I'm running on and how this is going to help you is going to do way more than what this guy's doing. Saying, I want an opportunity economy. I'm going to help people find jobs. Listen, people have heard that enough, right? People understand that Trump don't care. And people want somebody in there who don't care. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. They feel like, I'm not saying it's good or all good, but they feel like he's going to get in there and he's not going to be beholden to anybody. He's going to get in there and do what he want to do. You know, it don't matter what it is. He's going to do it. And they want somebody who they feel that they put in place and not the quote unquote deep state or whatever. They want to feel like, hey, we did this. We put him there. He's beholden to us. You know, it's the same way when I talk about ADOS. One of the things I say is the reason people support me is because they know that they built me. Hey, when people say I've been watching you since this, whatever, 2015, 16, 17, when you were voice or whatever, that's support, right? And I'm not talking to you on YouTube without that support from 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. So they feel the same way about Trump. Hey, we didn't create Kamala. We never voted for her. We didn't create none of these people. They say, even the Republicans, it's not just Kamala. They rejected all the Republicans. They said, no. We want a radical candidate. So I don't think people understand. It's your job to figure out what policies benefit you, what you've done, how that benefits other people, how that benefits them. And you have to give them some kind of political education in a short period of time. That's part of your job.
But also, I mean, I just feel like in general, like the commentators like Angela Rye, I just knew when the exit polls came out, it was going to be an issue of, oh, well, now, see, y'all going to wind up back in Mexico, blah, blah, blah. But it's not going to really cut down to the real issue of as to why this coalition we so-called built is falling apart. And I feel like even now when I'm seeing commentary about it, there's no one talking like you, or just even expressing that this is something that was always going to break because we didn't really have true allyship. I feel like everybody is just like ducking for cover and hoping they keep their jobs. That's what I get from all of the commentary that's coming out. It's not really true. I feel like there's some intellectual dishonesty going on, and it's also still painting this picture that the constituents who chose to go for Trump or those who didn't support Kamala are the problem. And I'm like, that's not really the problem. The problem is the system is totally it's not helping people.
Yeah, and when people
like,
that
my brother passed away, the reason why we connected so well on this show because he was underemployed. I mean, he didn't have insurance. That's how he wound up getting sick, you know, and passing away from a health disparity. But that is something that we don't really talk about. And then people sit there and say that, oh, when Black folks are saying we need these agendas to kind of focus or center around our needs, that somehow this is being selfish and not thinking about the group. I don't think it's that way.
Well, also we
need to start making our voices louder about that.
Well, and also what you're saying, you know, about your brother and his passing is very important because what you're saying is that, like, when Kamala says, "I want to do something where people can have elder care or whatever," that's great. But I don't think she understands that what Trump is promising is radical change, right? He's I'm gonna put tariffs on stuff. I'm gonna close the board. I'm gonna mass deport. I'm gonna stop the wars. That is radical stuff. Forget about who agrees and who disagrees. That is radical. Even when he says, I'm gonna cut the government, the deep state, whatever. That is radical. You have to have something radical. They're answering something radical with something that is milquetoast. So if you say, hey, my brother, the health disparities, this happened, so that means something along the lines of universal care, right? That means something that people can't fall below a certain point. You're talking about radical change to America that shocks America. And that's what Trump is talking about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're talking about we're going to help you take care of mama. Yeah, that's great, but that doesn't answer how serious our needs are right now. And I think that's where they're missing the mark. I will say I saw something interesting from Simone Sanders earlier because she was defending Biden and saying that they didn't have Biden go out to Scranton, and he's from Pennsylvania, and he did everything he could. And I found it very interesting that Simone, instead of defending Kamala, was defending Biden. And that lets me know kind of what they think the future of Kamala is in certain ways. Now, I don't know what that is, but that's very interesting. You worked for Kamala, but you were there kind of this morning, this clip that I saw, she was defending Biden. And I was like, that's interesting. But I think you're right in your assessment.
Yeah, it's very scattered, but it's never just a real response. It's always, how could we flip this and make it still not our fault? And I'm just like, goodness gracious, could we just be honest about it? You guys failed. You missed the mark. You don't know what the constituents want, or you're ignoring it and refusing to accept that we don't want the same things. Instead of just saying, as a corporation of the Democratic DNC, we need to get more in line with our constituents. Y'all just want to keep making up new theories about why things didn't work.
Or just find out what they need. Like, it's not hard to find out what people's needs are, right? And figure out ways to address those needs and tell them sometimes, hey, this is what you need. This is what you need right here. I got it. Because wasn't nobody thinking about tariffs until Trump said something about tariffs and then told everybody how I was supposed to help them. Whether or not that's true or false, we were thinking about wars, but there was a lot of stuff people weren't thinking about that. People were thinking about immigration, and Trump highlighted and talked about how bad it was and the problem that it was. And so you know, you have to listen to people, because when I said that, hey, this immigration, it displaces certain people, everybody said, oh, you're xenophobic. Like the whole Democratic Party is xenophobic. No, I don't hate immigrants. I'm saying that we have to have an immigration policy that favors, that doesn't displace American citizens, and we have to be serious about that. And instead of like engaging that conversation, right? Honestly, Democrats said, oh, you're xenophobic and just get out of here. And that doesn't work. That thing right there that they do where they just don't have a debate at all and just call you a name, that doesn't work.
Yeah, and I'm kind of sick and tired of these commentators that do that. I'm really over the Angela Rye, the Bacardi sellers, all these people who are still kind of milquetoast and don't want to just be honest. They're still not being even radical in their responses about how we should support someone. I'm ready for them to just all be ushered out and go. We need new people to be the educators. I'm being honest, I'm like, just go, because I feel like that is the real issue. These gatekeepers are making it extremely difficult for us to get the knowledge, to basically empower ourselves to want more from our leaders.
And they're also making it difficult for us to communicate with the party. So like, if we say something to them, oh no, you're just stupid. I'm not stupid. I'm smarter than you, Angela. But that's the response. And so nobody can ever say, hey, I'm hearing this from the community. You're supposed to, instead of telling us what the Democratic Party can't do, you're supposed to listen to us and take that back to the party. Hey, Democratic Party, if you listen, I'm more than happy to do it, because you need to get rid of all these gatekeepers and celebrity influencers. None of that stuff work. Throw it in the trash. You can start off with ADOS, AF, and we will help you craft a policy and a set of policies for us, and we off to the races. But you're right, fam. I appreciate you.
I wouldn't do anything with them until there's an apology, because I remember the misinformation and all the stuff they said. They kind of called us quacks.
Well,
and
listen.
Now we're getting to a point now where we are hearing that a lot of it, they're now stealing some of the talking points.
Oh yeah, they got all the talking points. Oh yeah. Oh no.
Interesting, because you were such a Pan-Africanist.
They don't. No.
I'm seeing a lot of people.
They done stole all the talking points. No, they don't.
You and Tone built.
Yeah, they done stole all the talking points. I heard some. I can't remember what it was, but I was watching the coverage yesterday after I got off here, and I heard somebody say and I said, Lord have mercy. You know, and then I heard somebody say something that, you know, Irony said it and I use it. He was the one who first said, check the engine light. If your check engine light comes on, destroy your life. I saw somebody say that. If your check engine light come on, that can really disrupt your... What in the world? But so I do...
Yes, and that's what you know to me, it's about them just staying in the seat because you're actually going and getting the information, but you're picking and like taking out little pieces and taking it for yourself and trying to run on it. And it's like, no, you just need to be honest. You are a bobblehead that don't know what you're talking about and need to move out the way for people to have real change come through. So
yep, I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
No problem, fam. I appreciate you.
To the conference, 'cause that was something me and my brother said we wanted to do. We wanted to go to one.
Oh, you should. You should try to make it. You should start. Start saving up bit by bit for it now because it's family, and I think sometimes you know everybody we love each other, so everybody heart need a hug sometime too. So just come through. We do politics, but we have a great time too, and so fun's had by all. But you have a good one, all right?
All right, have a nice night.
You too. Bye bye. Ooh, y'all want to talk about this election? I'm gonna go to a couple more calls. It's a lot of y'all in here though. Ooh, the lines is be hot. Let me try to call us. Let's try to make it quick because I'm gonna try to get to a few more people. But let's try to make it fast. I am going right now to this thing gives me a date. The last time y'all called in, so I'm gonna try to go to people who haven't called in recently or haven't called in at all. 901, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's on your mind?
Hi, Yvette. This is Tyrone. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Tyrone. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm calling from Memphis, Tennessee, and I want to say this. I am so glad this happened the way it happened.
Oh, why?
I'm so glad. Because I hope, Yvette, if this doesn't wake us up as a community, I'm not sure anything will.
Oh, what you think? What part of it? What part of it was supposed to wake us up, fam?
Well, the black and brown coalition that they first off, that part. I've tried, like, my family won't even talk to me now after the election. Like, I try to call them, try to console them to make sure everything was okay. Try to, bring them.
You want me to come over and put a little something on the grill?
Yeah. They won't talk to me. I mean, it's like almost like I'm blocked. I'm blocked on Facebook and everything. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
But anyway, I feel like this is something that needed to happen. That lady, I've been following you and Tone for a long time, back when Irby was on your show. You remember those years?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so, a lot of stuff that you guys have said, I've done the research, and I'm sitting here looking at this, and I try to, the information that you guys get, and I'm not going to plagiarize anything. I've always quoted my sources with you guys. I've always gave them your website or the YouTube to go on and kind of look at the different things. Those folks laughed at me.
They thought they was on to something, didn't they?
They thought I was a nut job.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm trying to explain to you something here so that you can, make a better informed decision when you cast your vote. I feel like, now I understand that the Republican Party doesn't really do much for us as a community, but that doesn't mean you should just not go look and see what they got going on over there. My folks are like vote blue no matter who.
Most of us are.
And that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But, you and Tone, y'all opened my eyes on a lot of things that were going on with the Democratic Party, how, you don't have money for reparations, but you got money to send to Ukraine, and you got money for, it's so bad, like when the hurricanes happened, folks got $732 over there?
Yeah, they got a 700. Yep. Yep. What you gonna do with that?
I know they were hot as fish grease over there. I know they were.
Natural disaster, catastrophe.
Then, not only that, a lot of the insurance companies are leaving from over there, and they're not going to pay them their settlement they're talking about. It's crazy. I don't want to tie the line up too much. I saw the show. I'm watching the show now. I had to say something. This is wild. It's one of the wildest things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they can't blame the black men on this.
Oh, they so mad they can't, cause they had it teed up and ready to go. They had it ready to go, and these exits came out, and they was like, oh, you know what? I don't look like
black men on this one though. You can't blame us.
Oh, they mad at y'all. They mad at y'all cause they can't blame y'all. Ooh, we had it set up. We had y'all right in the crosshairs. We had y'all right there.
At the moment, right. don't want to make our ladies upset, but we kind of tried to warn them a little bit about it. But they ain't trying to hear that, Yvette. Shut up. Do what I tell you. That's what it's like. You don't want to make them mad or whatever. Some of them, I guess. But I just wanted to, give my 2 cents on this. I don't really have any intellectual points, but
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I voted third party, so I get it.
Huh?
I said I voted third party, so I get it. I totally get it. I don't know what I don't know. And people.
I voted third party as well. So and some Democratic stuff down ballot, which it didn't look like it helped much.
That red wave came through.
Oh, wait, you saw that wave?
That red wave. That red wave took down the blue wall.
Yeah. Apparently somebody's had enough of something. Man. But I love the show, and I'll get off here and let you get some more people in. And I want to say thank you guys for the work that you're doing. It's outstanding. And I'm going to keep trying to push the message down here in Memphis and in Mississippi, which is where I'm from. That's where I was having the issue with my family members down in Mississippi.
Well, give them time. Give them time. They come around. Our people like to throw tantrums sometimes.
I think they're coming around now. I think they're coming around. There's
Okay,
a lot
good.
of things that have occurred, and they're looking around trying to, you can't blame certain people now. You have to actually analyze what's going on,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, fam. Thank you for calling in. Yeah, you got
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You too. You got to look at this stuff. 619, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hello, Yvette. How you doing? My name is Corey. I'm calling from San Diego.
Hey, San Diego, what's up with you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a first-time caller. I've been following you. I've had about 6 months since about last spring, so I'm relatively new compared to other people. Last week, after your show, it made me depressed. Basically, after, you had an African guy calling in from Texas. I remember you had the truck driver.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everybody was, I guess, maybe they were right. Because I have to say, I'm in my feelings a little bit. I'm disappointed by the result. I do get why people are disappointed. I do get why people have a problem with the Democratic Party. But I also feel that some people have jumped ship. And I take issue with that, especially in our community, because I feel like Trump hasn't done anything for us, and that party has done nothing for us. Now, I know it could be, the Democratic Party could do better, focus more on us. We could demand more also. But I also feel like it's just, I don't know, just the tone I'm hearing, everybody's like, yeah, everybody's not doing this, not doing that. I do feel like it's kind of hypercritical, and I'm taking some issue with that. And I'm not expecting everybody to perhaps take my view of things. But as I said, I do feel like sometimes it's done a bit hypercritical, and I just haven't adjusted to that.
I think I don't. Well, the first thing I would say is I'm saying I don't think 1,000 times. I repeat, but I don't think that it adjusted enough. That Trump got enough of the quote unquote black vote to think that we were hypercritical, right? I do think that we have. When you look at those exit polls, I do think that we have started to think about politics differently in terms of, what are we getting out of this in terms of that exchange. So I do think we are critical in assessing it. I do think, but I think when you look at those exit polls, like Democrats didn't lose as much of the black vote as I think they thought they were going to lose. And we still showed up for them better than anybody. So if that is hypercritical, I don't know what is giving them a pass.
No, I do get your point. And you're correct. I'm kind of adjusting here. As I said, I'm a little bit in my feelings. As I said, I woke up this morning and I was like, I didn't even want to look at the news because I was feeling bad last night, like things weren't going the way I wanted to see them go. So when I woke up this morning, I was like, okay, I got to turn on turn on his computer and see the results and stuff, and it happened the way it was supposed to happen. But I wanted to ask you this, and maybe this is a different angle, and just get your opinion on it. Now, for the last couple of years, we've been hearing about the Republicans in each state and the ones with the predominantly Republican legislatures on these election boards, and kicking people off the voter rolls. Do you think that could have had a play in how the results came out? Because I do get, okay, you can get the majority, but when he took the popular vote, I'm going, I was very surprised about Georgia, and I'm not sure what has happened with Michigan. So do you think that could have played a role in the election results?
I don't think so. It could have, and I'm sure if there was, there would be an investigation or something, but I don't think so. I really think, and let me tell you something I don't like about democracy in America. I don't like the Electoral College, really. I don't like the fact that Trump is going to take the popular vote, but most of the time Republicans don't, and they still win the White House. I have a problem with that. But I don't think that necessarily, what you're talking about, necessarily played a role. I don't have any reason to believe that yet. If I see evidence of it, then I'll change my view.
Okay. And I'd like to say just one more thing, two more things. I got a brother and father who both out of Howard, so they're Bison and stuff, and my butt should have went out there, but I went out to San Francisco State instead. But anyway, I do enjoy your show. I think you're great.
Thank you.
I try to tell people about you. They kind of go catching on and stuff, and I hope that in the year I can go to the conference too.
All right, I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate you, fam. We on this journey together. That's all we can do is be on the journey together. You have a good night, though. Right. Have a good one, fam. I appreciate you.
Hey.
Going to my last call, going to 702. 702, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. It's Charlie from Nevada.
What's going on, Charlie? What's up with you?
Nothing much. I just I thought it was interesting that the people who came on there and said what they had to say. But I personally think it's a wonderful day. I really do think it's wonderful. I really do. I don't mean that sarcastically.
I know.
I think cosplay Kamala is gone.
Oh.
I think bogus Barack is gone.
Oh.
Geriatric Joe is gone. even con man Clinton is gone. This is great. The Democratic Party's got to figure some stuff out over there. They got to do something. I don't know if they can survive this. I don't think people understand, because on the other side, what Trump did was incredible. People don't understand how incredible that was. That's a clean sweep over there. He got the House, the Senate, and he's going to get 2 more bites of the apple, the Supreme Court, I think. I'm pretty sure. So guess what? He's going to hand that to J.D. Vance. I think you're looking at 4 and 8. I really do. I don't see anybody over there. Vance is the real deal. I don't think people understand what he is. I think you're looking at 4 for Trump and 8 for Vance, because they can't get themselves together over there. I don't think they can dig out of this hole. So I think America is going to have to grow up. Not just us. I think all of America is coming into its adolescence finally, and they're going to have to figure something out here, because this is real business going on. This is a serious shift in everything, I think. So I think this is a wonderful time. I think it's time for people to get their act together, figure out where they stand in personally and collectively, figure out where they at, because this is real stuff here. Like I said, like that woman said, that woman told you about the Latinos, she's absolutely right. They do not consider themselves Latino. That they are embarrassed of that. They consider themselves white. They just like that. What's that dude, Vivek
Ramaswamy, yeah.
That was on the back of the garbage truck like an idiot. That idiot thinks that he wants to be white so bad.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
They want to be in whiteness, and the thing is, they're too brown to get in there. So they're going to be sitting around here spitting down on us. Everybody's got to figure out what to do here. This is real time here, and I'm glad it's happening, because like that one caller you had said, it's got to hurt. It's got to hurt, and that's the only thing that's going to wake people up is serious pain. You can't have cosplay Kamala sitting there. Let's feel good about Black Girl Magic. She's black enough. Howard Grant. No, forget all that crap. We need to wake up. Trump is your president. That's America. He reminds me of every white man who's ever been in my life as a teacher, principal, or boss. He is that dude. He's just richer and more arrogant. So this is what
he says everything. He says everything in public. They say in private too. That's the only difference too. Go ahead, fam. I'm sorry.
Yes, you say it out loud. Exactly. He can say it out loud and proud. And And I'm saying that when you get him in there for that little bit of time, and like I said, J.D. Vance is sitting in the cut. He's sitting in the cut, and they're grooming him for that spot, and he's smart enough to do it. Who's going to stop him over there? Nobody. And nobody in the Democratic Party, they got nothing over there. So guess what? We're going to get this train is going to roll the way it's going to roll. And we need to get organized if we want to get ourselves, if we want to survive, we got to organize. We have to get together politically, grow up, and to survive. I mean, I'm not even joking.
No, I agree with you.
Wonderful day, because hopefully
Survive.
this will kickstart people. I think once they see what Trump's about for real, I think people will say, wait a minute, hold up a second, wait a minute, this is serious. Because right now, everybody's like, oh, he's funny. Yeah, he is funny. He's gonna be funny. He's been in there. He's already been in there once. He's not a novice anymore. He knows the levers. He knows the tricks. He's one of them. He's not some strange dude coming in there. He knows. He's not. People. I've been watching this man since I was in middle school. People forget. I remember when he tore up Atlantic City. This man is not somebody from nowhere. He knows what's going on. Like you said, he was paying Hillary. Like you said, I was giving you money too, Hillary, because he said he was. He's been there, and he's old, and he don't care. This is Archie Bunker in the White House. This man don't give a damn. He's gonna do whatever he wants to do. Who cares? He's gonna die soon. He don't care what he does. He's gonna do exactly what he wants to do. He's not going up for re-election. He's near the end of his life. He's gonna do whatever he can do the same thing I would do if I was sitting. I'd do whatever I want to do.
Well, hold on, fam. Also, let me tell you something. There's nothing that makes you think about your mortality more than being shot at. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
so I'm gonna get it in too.
Exactly. And like I said, this is what's that? The great philosopher Future said, mask off.
Mask on, mask
the real deal here. This is the real deal here. I think the people, we've been asleep for a long time with all this weird little soap opera stuff that's been going on in politics. And I think now we're about to see the real deal. And like you said, this man been shot at. He still came out. Everybody thought he would change. I thought he would change. I thought, hey, he's going to tone it down a little bit after getting shot. Maybe he'll come to some kind of humility. Nope.
Not at all.
Doubled down.
Yep.
He doubled down. This man is bringing all the heat and all the fire to this thing. And so, like I said, they're controlling. They got full control of the government, including the Supreme Court, and it's gonna get worse because he's gonna put at least 2 butts and seats in there. I guarantee you, Clarence is getting out of there. That's one. Your boy might get out of there too. And who knows? Her health ain't that good. She may not last either. So he may.
I definitely think. I think Clarence want to make some money. I think Clarence want to make some money, and I think this is the best time for. This is you got the Senate, which has to do confirmation hearings, and you got the presidency. This is the best time. Like, especially if you're an older justice, it's the best time you got it. And Clarence want to make some money. He's been complaining for a long time about not being able to make no money.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. So I think he gets 2 more butts. I think he gets 2 more bites of the apple of the Supreme Court. I don't think people understand how important that is. He has packed that thing. If he gets 2 more, who's done that in recent history?
Nobody.
Done that.
First of all, who well, let me say one other thing, fam. This man has set. He had 4 years. He had time. You got to think about what it means to be president. Most presidents are not president and then have years to sit around and think about what they would have did, could have did, or should have did, and then get another shot at the apple.
That's right. That's just like that old Twilight Zone when they had when that dude went there, the devil was locked up, and he went down there and unlocked him, and he said, "I'm going back." He said, "Well, you lost to God last time." He said, "But this time I've had 2,000 years to figure it out." This man has had all this time to figure it out. He's been talking to people, and he's not. Bannon comes back out of jail. He knows what's up. He's like it's time to get back to business. And this time we're not going to have anybody in there who is a traitor to the cause. That's the other part. He hates Pence with a passion, and all the rest of those people. They were traitors to the word, and they're going to have true believers in there. Even Rubio ain't going to do nothing. If Rubio steps sideways, if that man burps, he's going to be in trouble. They got this thing on lockdown.
And you know what he said?
People understand that.
You know what he said, fam? You know what Trump said? He said they asked him why he didn't do more on immigration because, he's in favor of all the H-1B stuff, looks like, and getting the best and brightest over here, which really robs underdeveloped countries of their talent. But and hurts us over here too. But they said, why didn't you do more? He said, well, the people who I was asking what I could do were telling me that it was illegal. He was like, but now I know the stuff that I was trying to do wasn't illegal and I can do it. So you had a man who's been sitting around thinking, and we all know that Trump stews on stuff. Like part of his origin story as this villain that came when Obama said, Trump said about Obama, he'll be the worst president, right, in history. And Obama said, well, at least I'll go down in history as a president. Right. That's part of his villain origin story. So he thinks about things and he stews over things. Right? We know that he does that.
Yes, he does. He fumes over things. And like you said, he's been thinking about that. It's been smoldering in that man's ball. That's why they were scared. If you listen to the media, they're scared. They know that. They're like, well, wait a minute. He's getting back in there. And I was listening to NPR today, and they were talking, all these people were talking, and I noticed the tone of the people who've been interviewed has changed. It's a whole different tone now. It's conciliatory. And, Trump, we'll have to talk and work with him. I mean, really, 180. These people were like, this man will destroy democracy and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, we'll talk to him. We'll meet some middle ground. And, I mean, their whole tone changed. It wasn't just what they were saying. The whole tone changed. I'm like, yeah, you're going to change that up now because you know that this man holds grievance.
Well, here's another part to it, fam. Here's another part of it. Or you're gonna get fired too. Like you better change it up because this man is president now. He got all this, and that means that's where the country is now. So we can't have you going around all this. Trump's a fascist, all this stuff. That's finished.
That's right, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I said this thing about J.D. Vance. I don't think people understand that. Is that he's where the country's at too. That's why he was saying that stuff that people said was crazy, like the crazy cat lady stuff. He was on point with that. He knows where he knows.
You know where they at. He's speaking to where they are.
We got the pulse of this thing. I know that when he said that, I said, oh, that's kind of, no. He said that on purpose. He's not stupid. He knows that was the right thing to say for his base, and it's the right thing to say for that constituency to come with that stuff that he says. It sounds harsh to a lot of people because we've been used to this pussyfooting around this whole day. We're going to say this and that and all the nice stuff. He's coming hard with that stuff because he knows it's time. Those people are, like you said, there's a lot of anger. I talked to my son. My son is young, and his friends. I'm in Nevada. It's multi everything, right? Because he got friends that are from other countries. You got Filipinos. You got Mexicans. You got Venezuelans. You got Hawaiians. You got whites. You got all of it. And those young kids, they were down with Trump because they said Trump was going to. They're afraid. They're definitely afraid of being drafted and sent over to the European. They're afraid of going to war. They don't want to go to war. They can't buy used cars because used cars cost $14,000.
Yeah, too expensive.
They can't get apartments. Apartments are $2,500, and the price of eggs is $6 a dozen. And Trump was saying all that stuff was wrong, and they were like, "Yeah, all that stuff is wrong." So
yeah, I can't have the life that my parents had. Yeah.
What was that?
No, I was saying they can't have an American life. Like they're saying that, like, I can't afford an American life, and Trump is saying you should be able to afford it.
It's worse than that. They're looking at me because all these kids are growing up with parents like me
Mm-hmm.
who got we're at the end of the American dream, right?
Mm.
And so they're looking at that. They're growing up in real houses. They're growing up with 2 cars. They're growing up with comfort. And then they're looking in the world, and the world is telling them, "Oh no, you got to live like this." It's like, what? I got to live like that? And then I tell them stories about their grandparents, how their grandparents were in houses when they were their age. They were starting families when they were in their early and mid-20s. They were starting families. So I don't even understand this. I'm like, wait a minute. You can't have it like this. You're dropping it in one generation. And so they're like, wait a minute. Are we not going to get anything? And they're angry. I don't think people understand how angry the younger people are. I'm not even talking about the millennials. Millennials tried to make a run at it. They got all the student debt. Because these younger ones see that. They see the student. They see freaking people my age still paying off student loans with these college degrees. They see how screwed up this is. And Trump at least was saying, hey, this is not good. But the media is saying, hey, everything is great. My son's like, what? How is everything great? How is the economy good? He has a job. He said, I got a job, but I can't live off of it. I can't make it with the job that I have. None of his friends are all working. Some of them 2-3 jobs. They can't make it. They're bumped up in apartments. So if you have a situation like that, and the Democrats were supposed to be fixing that and addressing that, even if you're not fixing it, Tell me what your plan is. They didn't.
Yep, they didn't, and they didn't have a specific plan. And stop telling, and because I saw an article, and that made me. The article made me think this is kind of what Democrats are. Like the article basically said, like your idea of what the American dream is has to shrink, and it was in like the Atlantic or something. And I'm thinking to myself, if y'all think this is what people need to hear, nobody wants to hear. Like my parents had X, Y, and Z. Listen, my parents were able to get a house. My parents were able to get 2 houses. Like, and they were factory workers. You can't tell young people who've achieved way more than they achieved, but you can't have what they had.
Yep. And this is an aspirational country. That's the thing about it. This country is aspirational. You can't tell people to go backwards in an aspirational country. You can't do that. That doesn't work.
That's true.
The thing is, when Kamala said that thing, was it $6,000 for a baby or some crazy stuff like that? And J.D. Vance doubled down on that and said, no, I'm going to give you $5,000 tax credit for every child every year. I said, and my son was like, that sounds more like it. I said, you doggone right, that sounds more like it. That's something, even if you can't deliver on it, at least you said the right thing. You gonna tell me some $6,000 for a baby one time? For what? I'm gonna feed the baby on $6,000 for 18 years? No. What are you talking about?
Well, and what he's telling you is, I'm gonna make it possible for you to have a family, right? And the reason he talked down to single people is that he knows his voters are families. Like a lot of the base of is, and they want to feel like, yes, I'm playing to them.
Yes, he is. He's strongly playing to them, and I don't think people understand how powerful that what he's saying is, because that, as of right now, having a family is becoming a luxury item.
It is. It is.
And like we said,
can't afford them kids.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a luxury item. It's like having a nice new car. It's a luxury item. That used to be something that people did. My parents had 2 or 3 new cars during my life.
Well, not only that, fam. Once you realize, this is a great conversation, because once you realize how functional people parent too. Like, I'm helping the kid get a house. I'm doing something. I'm gonna save some money and do some stuff for the child. Like, I think we don't really understand like how much a child costs. And there was, Antonio did a show a while back about the cost of a child, right? And when you look at that, and then you look at like what you earn and what you make, if I want this child to have a good life, all of that's coming from inheritance now for white folk. They're getting it from inheritance to be able to put that forward and pay it forward for the child. Your child is at a disadvantage for a lot of people, even people who are not ADOS. Your child comes in here at a disadvantage. So how can you pay for a family? Nobody wants to live in a country where a family is unaffordable.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. Like I said before, my kids are sitting there because they see, luckily I have a relatively intact family, so they're able to see grandparents, and they're able to see great aunts and great uncles, and they look at these nice houses. They have nice homes because they were able to level up. From the start, they had started a home, and then next home, maybe some of them got to the 3rd home. And so you're seeing these kids are looking at grandparents and parents who are living in nice homes. I'm in a suburban home now, right? So they're looking at that and going, well, wait a minute, how do I ever get to that? How do I have 2 children, or if I want 2 children, how do I live that American life? It's really not even aspirational. This has become the ground floor. That was the ground floor before.
You gotta think, fam.
Buying a home and having a car and being able to
having a starter home. You had a starter home. Listen, my parents are in their 80s now. Their first home, they got it in the late 1960s through like FHA doing something or whatever, and it's a 4-bedroom house. Like, it's just like, what are we talking about? Like a spacious house. They didn't graduate high school. Like, you can't tell people who did, like, they can't have that.
I know. Speaking of that, my parents, who are now separated in their old age, they separated, who knows, but they're in 2 homes. My mother owns, the home I grew up in, my father's still there. My mother owns her own home. She was able to do that. So literally, even in the split, they were able to have their own home. That's unheard of for these young people. And that's not even counting my grandparents' home that they inherited, that they have. that's being used by my other sister. So there are 3 homes back there owned. So those are paid for.
Yep.
Those are homes that are paid for. And it's like, what you say something like that, and then you look at your son. Luckily, he's got me, and luckily, I am thinking of him and my daughters, and I am putting it together so that they can have something, because I understand they gotta have inheritance. They have to. There's not even an option. Like what my parents did with me, just say, hey, go
Yeah, just go to work. Yeah. Our parents could just go to work.
And my mother-in-law was looking at me crazy about that. She was like, well, they got it. And I said, they can't. They can't go out there like that.
No, that's how you live.
She had an adult job.
Yeah.
She was 20 years old, and she's kept for 35 years. An adult job.
Yep.
That doesn't exist. That didn't exist to me. It definitely doesn't exist for them.
No, and you got it. Yep, you got it. Like I said, my parents didn't graduate high school and they were able to do that. Like I'm not talking like these were not elite people. It used to be a time when you could go to work and do 8 hours of work somewhere. You could, and there were jobs of many. If you could do 8 hours of work somewhere, you could have a house, nice car, all that stuff. That's it.
My parents were brought up on sharecropping farms. They moved with their parents to the north. So I know what you're talking about. These were literally sharecropper kids.
My mom was a sharecropper.
Drive a tractor. That was her first vehicle to learn how to drive. So that's where they came from. They came from that and were able to now own individual homes. This is like, that thing is not possible now. I mean, let me take that back. It's possible, but it's not probable. Okay? It's just not in the cards anymore because of the way we designed this thing. The starter homes are $500,000 out here.
Here too. No, here too. 400 here. 400, 425, yeah.
Yep. $500,000. You lucky. You gotta look for that one. You gotta fight for that $500,000 one because a lot of them are 6. And these are starters. These are starter homes. And they advertise them as starter homes. They say, oh, this is a good home for you to get into. And I'm like, what? Who's getting that? Who can afford that? Nobody. There's not that kind of income anymore. So of course these are going to become rentals. The corporations are going to buy them and rent them out. This is the thing. People don't understand we're shifting right now. This is the shift that's going on right now. And I'm saying we are in trouble because, like I said, the Democrats are no better. I mean, like they said, Obama did all that talking and then went to Martha's Vineyard or the Hamptons or wherever he lives. Up in Martha's Vineyard or over there in up in the Hamptons or wherever his $1 million, his $10 million, $20, $30 million home, and Kamala, I'm sure she's fine with Dougie. Her and Dougie gonna go off somewhere and be fine. These people are rich people that don't care about you, don't come from, don't know anything about what you're talking about. Like I said, J.D. Vance has that real story. Not Kamala's story about how my mother flew in here and worked at Berkeley. What? At the same time that my father was buying a house in Red Lion, Ohio, right? Her mother was flying in here to work at Berkeley, and then when it got too tough down in Berkeley, flew up to freaking Canada. I mean, come on now. These people are disconnected from us. They're disconnected from us. And so we don't have a voice in there. We got to build a voice. We have to build. If we're going to do it, I don't know if we're going to do it, but we need to do it. We need to build people up who can go in there and actually deliver something for us. Otherwise, we're going to be like over there in England with Richie Sunak.
We're going to, and we told,
kids going to be running your country.
Yeah, and we told,
you got a billionaire old man now, there's going to be like a billionaire kid running.
And we told people, fam, we told people years ago that they're locking this wealth in. Like they're locking it up. Yes. And people are like, no, it's like, no, you don't see it yet. This stuff is stuck. Like this stuff is calcifying, and that's what happens when labor doesn't get more money. So even when you're talking about Kamala, what you're doing for the labor movement, right? In terms of you just can't say opportunity economy. What are you going to do? Really, you have to even talk about taxes and changing the tax code. Now that means you don't get money from billionaires, but hey, this money has to, you have to figure out a way that the people in the middle, because they're getting rid of the middle class. And so if you say I'm a middle class, if I was raised in the middle class, if you say that, even though that's not true in terms of how we view middle class, you have to talk about the ways in which you're going to save the middle class. Who is getting in the way? See, Trump told us who the enemies were, whether you believe it or not. He said the enemy is we got to do something about these tariffs, energy costs. He talked about inflation. He told you the immigration or whatever. You got to point to the enemies, and it can't just be Trump. You have to have some enemies in your policy. What's the enemy of you having a good life right now? And it can't just be Project 2025 because it's Project 2025 is not here yet, and people don't have a good life right now. So what is the enemy of that? And this is how I'm gonna fix it. And it just didn't happen because these are systemic issues. These are not issues. This is what Trump is gonna do. We already have systemic problems, and you got to tell me how you're gonna fix them. And that's what didn't happen. I'll let you have the last word, fam.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And systemically, what we have to do. Here's the thing. Okay, first of all, we have to build ourselves up to be political adults. Like I said, maybe we're going into adolescence now. We got to build ourselves into political adults, and you're going to have to tax this money from the people that have it. It's as simple as that. It's not hard. Mm-hmm. It's really not hard when you think about it in common sense terms. The tax rate, when Reagan got up in there, what was the tax rate? 78%, 80%? You're going to have to bring those things back. You're going to have to do corporate tax. You're going to have to do personal income tax, not income tax, income tax.
Estate tax got to come back.
What was that?
I said estate tax got to come back. I don't care if you call it the death tax.
No, I don't care. You got to claw that money back out of these people because they're clawing it out of you.
Yep.
And you're going to get that money back, and you're going to have to use that money to sustain your society. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, like you said, we're going back to the feudal lords. I mean, we might as well just go back to feudalism right now because you're going to have to claw that money back. And it's according to, once again, these people are illiterate and stupid. They don't even understand what they're going into because they don't want feudalism, but they go back to that. Socrates and Plato told you don't do that. Have a middle class because if you don't have that buffer, guess what? People get angry, and it ain't gonna be black people getting angry. It's gonna be white people getting angry, and when they get angry, they go for the gusto. Ask some people over in France, they go for the gusto. Ask some people over in England, people forget about that. Those revolutions can happen again, and people in this country, everybody got weapons. I'm being serious. You know what I'm saying? Within a generation or so, if you starve these people out of any aspirational achievement, they will go there. And I think Buffett the other day, and I'll say this and I'll end this, there were actually two statements. One from Gates when he said he had $100 billion, he could be fine with like 60. But he was willing to take a $40 million haircut because he sees it coming. Buffett said Berkshire and 800 other companies can pay all of the income tax and all the property tax. Y'all didn't pay no tax at all. He literally floated that out there. You can look it up online. He floated out a zero tax country with just 800 of the top companies paying all of that. Basically, they supporting the country because he knows that Galileo said the same thing with him and with the whole with that sustainable income or the UBI. They know what's coming. They know that they're going to have to do something because automation ain't going nowhere. It's just going to get worse. You're going to have to do something to shut this down, and they don't want to do what they need to do, so they're trying to come up with other stopgap measures to keep this thing quiet because it's getting there. It ain't there yet. We're about
they understand. They understand the pitchfork. They know the they know the pitchforks are coming.
Because I'm telling you, my kid, my youngest kid, the one that's in the 20s, my kid's not these kids out here just whatever. But his friends aren't either. These are not dumb kids. These are not stupid kids. They're sitting around going, wait a minute, what's going on with this? And right now they're young. Like my son said, what's going to happen when they're 30? Because they can't keep working these physical jobs and not getting no money. Because when they're 30, they realize they're going to be tired and hungry and still needing stuff. So they're going to be they're angry now. They're angry now because this is a consumer economy.
Well, we saw.
And they can't consume.
Yeah, and we saw their numbers too. We saw how the young folks' numbers split for Trump. I want to thank you, fam, for a great call. Yep. I hadn't heard from you in a while. I appreciate you calling in. It's always a good talk, always a good chat.
You keep up the good fight. Keep up the good words. Keep talking. I mean, it's rough. I know it's rough for you, but keep on talking. Keep on moving forward because eventually. I really do believe that eventually and very soon now, you're gonna be one of the people they're gonna pull up. They're gonna finally have to pull up and say, hey, okay, what's your vet got to say? They're gonna have to. They're gonna be forced to do it because I'm saying the metal is going. What's that metal pedal to the metal is gonna hit the road in a minute. You're gonna be looking around going, who can talk about this? Oh, her. Let's get her.
Yeah, who can speak to the needs of the Negro? I appreciate you, fam.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, you have a good one, fam. Yeah, who's gonna speak to the needs of the Negro? I appreciate you, fam. That's gonna be my last call of the evening. Great way to end that. Great way to end that conversation. Thank everybody for calling in. And I'll try to get y'all next time. The phones just I guess because of the election or whatever, they just been powing. So I'm not gonna get to any other calls tonight, but because the line's just been full all the time. So it is what it is. But I'm gonna get y'all next time. But yeah, I think people. I don't think a lot of people even understand what that you had. Some people may not even, depending on where you grew up, not that like, or how young you are, right? You might not know that, like, Yvette's parents were able to have this like spacious house, and they were both factory workers, and my mama was a sharecropper, and nobody graduated high school. I don't think my mama graduated the 4th grade, right? Because she had to be on the sharecropper farm. And you might not know, because you're much younger than me and you didn't grow up with these older people. You may not know that that's the life that they had, right? And I think everybody should realize that these people had a great life. They worked factory work. They came home, did the same thing every day, and changed factory jobs a couple times. And I was running around the house with little grilled cheeses like this, like you know what I mean, I think a lot of younger people don't understand that life. That life was my growing up life. I grew up across the street from a swimming pool. It was a totally ADOS neighborhood, but there was a swimming pool across the street. Right, in the park. Come on, man. Like, do y'all understand what they took, what they stole when they decided that this wasn't gonna be life no more? So I maybe you don't know because I'm older, but I just want to make sure everybody's clear on all the ways in which you have been robbed. So nice chat, great chat, fam. I will see y'all next time. Please keep it easy breezy. Don't bother nobody. Don't let nobody bother you. If you're on Patreon, I will see you tomorrow. All right, fam? All right.